All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome if you are new. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and thank you so much for waiting patiently for the intro to finish up there. I hope you guys like what I did with the place. Yes, that's right. MBG goes 2 days without streaming. When he comes back, the room is rearranged once again. I definitely changed some stuff up, but I really like the way this came out. It turned out really nice. Even got the dumbbells in the background there. Boss is trying to figure out what to do with himself because I have a different desk set up now, and it's not as large as it once was. So Boss can no longer just freely do as he pleases around my desk area. He has to be a little bit more isolated to his own area here. But yeah, appreciate you guys being here today. We have some topics to discuss. And one of the topics, he will find a way. Yes, he probably will find a way. One of the topics we have to discuss today, once again, revolves around Microsoft and their continued efforts to make the PlayStation 5 console the definitive console experience for their games. It is a truly bizarre and unexpected turn of events, and some people are still in denial, which is weird to see. I mean, I don't know what else needs to happen. Hold on. I'm watching you. Don't you dare try jumping. Boss, if you try jumping on this desk, I will have to escort you out of the room. You will knock shit over, and I'm not dealing with that. I'm just letting you guys know now, if Boss starts misbehaving, I am going to have to escort him out of the room, and we will bring him back later. I'm trying to test this out to see how he does. I'm hoping he'll behave. But yeah, we're going to talk about that. We have a couple of other topics. Listen, guys, there's like literally no gaming news. Like, I mean, I've seen multiple rumors and leaks coming out that are like immediately disproven, and people are just making shit up, and it's getting ridiculous. For example, I covered one of them recently. That whole rumor about Medieval 2 and a shadow drop, total bullshit. The leaker, it's not a leaker, it's just a troll. The person who came out and made these claims just was like, yeah, I just did it to troll. And it's like, you know what? I'm done, bro. Like, I'm done trying to follow the leaks and the rumors and shit, because it's just like, it's really just getting to a point of total nonsense. I mean, in the past, there were at least some things that were true. Like, I saw that there was another rumor from some leaker that was like, Cillian Murphy's going to be, like, they posted like a picture of Cillian Murphy in Far Cry, and everybody was like, so I guess he's teasing that Cillian Murphy's going to be the villain in Far Cry 7. And there was like reports being written up. Everybody's talking about it. And then the next day they're like, yeah, I never said that. It's like, okay, this is getting straight up stupid now, you know, where it's like, are we like, really? This is where we are? But something that is not a rumor and is not untrue is the fact that Sea of Thieves, the latest Microsoft game, the latest Xbox Game Studio title, runs better, albeit slightly better, but still better nonetheless on the PlayStation 5. What is going on? What is Microsoft doing? They're trying to gas the gaming news cycle right now. Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right about that. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk a little bit about Little Big Planet 3 and how apparently like the servers are permanently shut down. A lot of people are upset about this. We also are going to talk a little bit about Arrowhead and Helldivers, and we're going to talk about Silent Hill, and we'll talk about some other stuff as well. Whatever you guys want to talk about, we'll talk about. Let's do it. But yeah, before we dive into anything, I have a couple things I want to let you guys know about. Number one, I just want to thank you for being here. Thank you to everybody who stops by to watch the streams live. Thank you to those of you who can't catch the streams live but actually watch them later on. You guys are awesome. Really appreciate all the support. Hit that like button. We're going to have probably some salty Xbox fanboys here today, guaranteed. getting all upset because we're just talking about the truth and they can't handle the truth. Corey says, MGS theme? Maybe. Hey, bro, we hit some goals today. I will gladly play the MGS theme. Okay. And I just realized that my goal here is for some reason set to 50. I actually didn't mean to do that. We're at 50. Well, I'll just leave it. I mean, if you guys want to hit 50, we'll hit 50, but you know how it is. The normal goal is 25. If we hit 25 members today, boss will get some of his treats. If we hit 50, we're going to do some reps. I've been feeling good. I feel fully recovered. So if we do that, I'll definitely do some reps at the end of the stream. I have a lot more room behind me now because I rearranged everything. So yeah. But yeah, if you guys want to help support the channel directly, there are 3 ways you can do that. I do rely on you guys to make this content, to do these streams, to be able to run this channel the way that I do. And I'm very grateful to be able to do that. The 3 ways you can support me directly: become a channel member, gain access to some exclusive perks, including the Members Lounge. We did a Members Lounge, I think, on Thursday. It was nearly 2 hours long. So if you're a member, go check that out. If you are already a member, consider gifting memberships. Okay, it helps out tremendously. We're going to continue to grow the membership community. Third, last but not least, we have super chats. Now, there is a bonus here with super chats, something that I need to let you guys know about, and I am going to continue to let everybody know about this because it's actually pretty important. So you know how super chats work on YouTube. You can ask a question, give an opinion, make a statement, anything in between, and it helps me tremendously. But you will look, if you see in the chat, you look at the top, you'll see that there is a link. It says Streamlabs MBG. If you click on that link, it will take you to a direct donation page. And this is essentially the same as a super chat, but you do it directly through Streamlabs. And what that means is that it goes directly to me, and YouTube doesn't take a cut because it's just a simple donation. So I'm just letting everybody know. Also, because I've seen that there are some people who try to super chat, they try to gift memberships, and YouTube won't allow them. This is another option for you. Now, here's the important thing that I want to let you know. If you donate through Streamlabs, there should be a notification. So I, for example, got a Streamlabs donation from Kirby Shaw in the Members Lounge, and I'm going to see if the notification plays right now. There you go. So that's what the Streamlabs donation notification looks like. He says, check, 1, 2, 3. And then there was also Ghetto God. He also dropped a donation in Streamlabs. And he said, salute F YouTube. And again, it's another option, another way you can support the channel, support me directly, because 100% of it goes to the content creator. But it's just important that I put that out there and make everybody aware of it. So thank you to everybody who continues to support the channel. It means a lot. We have Sean Mitchell here, a member for 12 months, says 1 year of the MBG Army James Sunderland reskin for Silent Hill 2 is a good direction, I reckon. Hopefully Bloober Team touches up the combat as well. Yeah, that's one of the major changes. That's pretty much the major change. I'll bring that up here so you guys can check this out. Silent Hill 2 Remake. Now, here's what's interesting. People are claiming that they changed James Sunderland's look. I'm going to bring the image up here. They're claiming that they changed the look. If you see here, it says old look and then new look. But I'm actually thinking that the old look, people were saying, like, that's basically a CGI trailer. Like, that's why he looks so different. Like, as in, maybe not that it was misleading, but like, people are looking at the new look and they're like, well, maybe this is always what he was going to look like. However, I will say, it does seem like it could be a purposeful change, because if you look at the new look of James Sunderland, this very much so lines up more with the original game. People were complaining about the way James Sunderland looked in the original reveal trailer because they're like, he's too emotional, he's too expressive. And if you know anything about the story of Silent Hill 2, everything is very intentional even like his demeanor, his facial expressions, the way he looks, and he's just supposed to have this certain, not necessarily, I mean, there's supposed to be a little bit of emotionlessness, but also just this kind of like, just kind of like dark, just kind of this dark brooding nature in his face that you can't, or like a tortured look, I guess you could say. But it's supposed to be very subtle, and people were like, well, I don't know. The original trailer for Silent Hill 2, it seemed like they were just being like all over the place, with just having him scream and freak out and stuff, and just looking like he's about to break down and cry. So I do think that the new look for James Sunderland in Silent Hill 2 Remake, I think it's a lot better. I think it's an improvement. Certainly, it looks, I think, more accurate to the original game. Especially this shot here when he's looking in the mirror in the bathroom. You see more shadow on his eyes, which is, again, it's an intentional thing. He is not necessarily giving anything away. So I think it's smart. It makes me wonder if there was like a lot of changes that have occurred with Silent Hill 2 Remake. Like maybe I don't know, maybe Konami like asked them like, can you please do this or do that? Or maybe Blooper Team just decided to ask Konami if they could get more time to make these changes. Because I will say one of the biggest things that people were complaining about since the time Silent Hill 2 Remake was announced was the fact that it just seemed like they made James Sunderland like way too expressive, like way too emotional, way too expressive. And it just kind of felt like it was taking away some of the mystery and intrigue and subtlety of the original game and the character. So I think it looks good. I think we're going to be seeing more of Silent Hill 2 Remake very soon. At least you would hope. So we have Machito Swing, member for 4 months, says, "You do a great job." Well, thank you for that, man. I do appreciate it. Appreciate all the support. And so, yeah, let's dive into this topic here. What is Microsoft doing, dude? I mean, seriously, what are they doing? Like, why are we sitting here still April 2024 talking about the PS5 offering the definitive versions of Xbox games? This to me is truly it's not the fact that it's just like one or two games, right? That, like, to me, this is where things are just I am not sure how anybody could be convinced that Microsoft gives a shit about the Xbox console or the console fan base. I just don't know how anybody could believe that. So for context here, Digital Foundry once again did their analysis of Sea of Thieves. So the last one we saw, Digital Foundry did an analysis for Hi-Fi Rush. And they discovered that while they are not major, they are not that significant, there are some improvements on the PS5, such as better shadows, and in some cases, maybe a more stable frame rate here and there. But nonetheless, the PS5 version of Hi-Fi Rush, on top of having the DualSense support, is basically like, yeah, this is the better version of the game on console. So if you're thinking about buying this game on console or playing it, you might want to go for the PS5 version. And so a lot of people were kind of like, all right, this is very strange and kind of unexpected. And so from that point, it was like, all right, let's wait and see if this continues. And so here we are with Sea of Thieves. And Sea of Thieves is, again, apparently the big game that's going to decide, no, see, boss, we're not doing this. No. No desk. No desk. No desk. We're not doing that. We're going to see with Sea of Thieves if it does really well on PlayStation. That apparently is going to be the key game that makes Microsoft decide, okay, we're going to go all in now, or we're going to do another batch of games. And Digital Foundry did their analysis of Sea of Thieves on PS5, and they found that shadows are better on PS5. Draw distance is better on PS5. And in some cases, there's less frame hiccups. There does seem to be some kind of bug with the PS5 version, apparently, like a network bug that some server instability, where if you were playing with 4 people, it seems like they have to iron that out. It can kind of freeze the game and lock it up. So that's, I guess, a downside, but I'm assuming that'll be fixed by the launch. But this is what Digital Foundry has. Okay, no, boss. Sorry. This is what Digital Foundry discovered. And I was kind of looking around and seeing, like, what are people saying about this? You know, what are people saying about this? How are people feeling about the fact that yet another Microsoft Studios game is launching on PS5 and yet another Microsoft Studios game is running better on the PS5? Well, you know what? It seems like people are starting to kind of call this out and pay attention to the fact that this is pretty ridiculous and this is unacceptable. Now, as a PlayStation 5 owner, I don't see a problem with it, obviously. You know, I have a PS5. I'm not planning on playing Sea of Thieves, but if I was planning on playing Sea of Thieves, you know, it's a pretty nice advantage. Is it negligible? Probably. And that's the thing, you know, I see people, they kind of replying to like, well, you wouldn't know the difference if Digital Foundry didn't point out. You wouldn't notice the difference. That's not the point. That's not the point. Boss demands camera time. He can have camera time. He can just sit right. Look, he can sit right here, and he can. People can see him perfectly. It's not time yet, dude. It's not snack time yet. But that to me is people are just totally missing the point where it's like, oh, it doesn't matter. Like, no, it does, because this is pathetic. Don't do it, boss. Don't do it. I'm gonna escort you out. I'm watching you. Don't do it. I see you don't. I see you getting ready. Don't. I'm telling you, dude, you knock my coffee over, I'm going to snap. Don't do it. Boss is testing me. Just like these Xbox fanboys, bro. Just like these Xbox fanboys be testing me. He doesn't know what to do with himself. And we got PS Therapy coming in. PS Therapy giving us some therapy. The PlayStation fans need that therapy, bro. Dropping 5 memberships for you guys. Really appreciate that, man.
Appreciate it.
Lower that a little bit. PS Therapy kicks off the day by dropping a 5 bomb on you guys. The notification is a little bit larger, so I do apologize for that. I got to do something about that. Let me shrink it down just a little bit. So there we go. That's better. So yeah, we're sitting at 5 memberships now, thanks to PS Therapy. Good stuff, man. Let me add that to the counter here. And there we go. And I also forgot to give a big shout out. I got to get better doing this every Sunday. Got to give a big shout out to the top donors of last week. A lot of people donated last week, and to anybody who donated, huge shout out to you guys. But the top donors are as follows. We got Corey, the Legend Landigo, who comes in as I'm saying this and drops 5 more memberships for you guys. Boss, don't you do it. Don't you do it. He's got to go. He knows he's being bad, bro. He's looking at me like, shit, I didn't do it. You didn't see nothing. Corey drops 5 memberships for you guys. And also got to give a special thank you to Corey, the Legend Landiga, because he takes the Platinum Trophy once again. He shows such huge support for this community and this channel. He does some serious heavy lifting. Corey, thank you so much, man. Thank you for dropping another 5 memberships, bringing us up to 10 on the day. Also got to give a shout out to Hellbound 1981 for snagging that gold trophy. Hellbound came in big last week. And we also have, with the silver trophy, Pushing Polygons. Pushing Polygons coming out of nowhere for that silver. And then with the bronze, we have our good friend Matt Fu. So thank you guys so much for being so generous to me and the community. Very much appreciated. I see we have Josh Z here, and he says, 4 years. It has been interesting to watch you grow as a creator and a gamer. And holy shit, yeah, Josh, member for 48 months. That's wild, man. Thank you. That long-term support is incredible. You're saying that's 4 years. It's been interesting to watch you grow as a creator and a gamer. You are much more laid back and open-minded. Your Crackdown 3 rant is still my favorite video, though. It felt like you were personally insulted. Yeah, dude, that I'm telling you, that Crackdown 3 video, we'll see. Was that my peak? Was that my It may have been. We'll find out. Something tells me there's going to be something in the future. Something in the future that tops that Crackdown 3 video. I don't know what and I don't know when. But Josh, see, that's what I'm talking about, man. 4 years of support. That's amazing to see. Thank you so much, dude. I'm glad you've been on this ride with me here. It's been a wild one, certainly. It's been a wild one. But getting back to the topic here, because I know I'm going to be all over the place this stream. The people that I see kind of defending Microsoft here, I think that they are missing the point entirely. I'm not saying that they should rage. All right, listen, guys. I want to rant right now. I want to rant, and Boss is holding me back from ranting. So I think I'm gonna have to bring Boss out of the room for a little bit. Corey, you gotta let me get Boss out of the room, because he's the only problem I'm having right now is there's one section of desk here. It's so small. Boss is bigger than the section of this desk, and if he tries jumping on it, see, I didn't anticipate this problem. I didn't think he would actually try jumping on this section. I'm just afraid he's gonna knock all my shit over. That's all. God, he's pushing my buttons, man. He's staring at me. He's staring me down. He's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm sorry, Titus. I'm sorry. All right, I'm gonna try to rant. If Boss causes chaos, I might just have to break that rant for a moment to let him out. But anyway, he's hangry. Yeah, guys, come on. We got to get to the 25 mark. Help me get to the 25 mark so I can feed the beast here and calm him down, bro. I'm ranting already about Boss. No, listen, though. In all seriousness, it is depressing and frankly pathetic to see people defending Microsoft here, or making it seem like anybody who points this out and is like, hey, did you know that Sea of Thieves runs better on PS5? Did you know that Hi-Fi Rush runs better on PS5? The people who are defending this or pushing back, who cares? You can't even notice it. It's like you are like, see, people who have that mentality, they are the reason why this has happened. They are the reason why Microsoft has just continued to make these decisions. And I get it. Like, at the end of the day, these companies are going to do what they want to do regardless of what anybody says, but it's just stuff like that is not helping. You know? Stuff like that is not helping, where it's like, you should be vocal. You should be at least a little bit upset, because if Sony was doing this, I would definitely be calling out Sony, being like, Sony, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Like, how are you going to, like, it'd be like if Sony released Helldivers 2 on Xbox and it ran better. It had some kind of advantage. I don't give a shit if this is a 1% advantage. That's beyond the point, or that's besides the point. The point is, like, this is your game. Your game on your console should run best on your console. Your console should offer the micro benefit, the small benefit, even if it is better shadows, even if it is slightly better draw distance, even if it is just a couple frames. I'm not saying lose your minds and throw out your Xbox. We probably should throw out your Xbox. Who needs one? I'm just kidding. But if people don't become more vocal, well, to be honest, I don't even know. Because I'm sitting here saying, like, Xbox fans should be more vocal about that, but make it shitty. No, see, that's the thing. I'm not saying Microsoft should make it shitty on purpose, because it's not that extreme. Like, I'm not saying, Microsoft, you should make the PS5 version of Sea of Thieves shitty so you can have the better version on your console, but it's just like, at the very least, completely equal. At the very least, they should be completely equal. And I say this as a PS5 gamer, because it's like, listen, to be honest, I can't say that I give a shit, right? I don't care about Xbox. I don't care about the Xbox console, and maybe that's part of the problem, but like, how the fuck could I, dude? Like, how could I even remotely care about this console when Microsoft is doing stuff like this? And I know that people are like, well, you know, you can't really say that, dude, because look, It's just 4 games. It's like you can't sit here and actually believe that at this point, right? Like you got to know, like Starfield is coming. It is. It's gonna happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But the real question is, when Starfield comes, is the PS5 going to have some kind of advantage? How pathetic would that be? What about Halo the Master Chief Collection? What about previous Gears of War games? These are things that are very likely going to happen. And when they do, it's going to be fucking insane if the PS5 has any type of advantage whatsoever. And you really have, if I was an Xbox fan, I'd seriously have to ask the question, like, how did we get here, bro? Like, how did we get here? And I would have to ask at that point, like, why would you even consider buying an Xbox console? I'm just sitting here imagining if Sony did this shit, you know? I'd be furious. I'd be like, Sony, you literally are trying to murder your own console. Boss, let me drink my coffee here, bro. But here's the biggest problem. Because I see what you're saying. You're saying, don't worry about Xbox fans. I get it. You're right. I don't want to have I know people are going to say it's your faux concern, MBG. We don't need your fake concern, your whatever. Fine. But here's my question. How is this competition? How is this competition? I was told over and over and over again by Microsoft executives, by the fans that were supporting Microsoft's acquisition efforts. I was told time and time again that this is in the name of more competition. This is going to lead to more competition. I thought you wanted competition. This is the opposite of competition. This is the literal polar opposite of competition in any way, shape, or form. And this is what concerns me, because what it seems to reveal is that the plan that Microsoft had this whole time that people were worried about is their true plan. The only difference is it might not necessarily involve the eradication of PlayStation or Sony. Instead, it's actually quite the opposite. It's we're going to use Sony. We're going to use PlayStation to our advantage. It's very smart. But you also have to question, like, what is the end game here? And the end game is exactly what we all thought it was. It was Microsoft trying to buy their way to the top. You know? Hold on, Neutral Zone. You're saying dreaming every day of having all Xbox games on PlayStation is like you never want to let go of Xbox, and they're just hiding it behind the PlayStation community. Dude, listen, I'll be honest with you right now. All right. Xbox could disappear tomorrow and every one of their games could disappear. Like I'm talking like Thanos, like erased from existence. Like it just never happened. And I'd be perfectly fine. Like I'm just saying, like, that's this to me. Well, to be honest, the only question I'd have at that point is if Microsoft and Xbox were erased and totally gone, I would have to ask, so who is competing with PlayStation? I mean, we probably look at Nintendo, and then we'd probably start asking the questions that we've asked previously, like, well, Google or Amazon or one of these big behemoth companies, will they try to make their own console? Yeah, and it's just listen. I see people say, I see what Xbox fans are like holding on to, right? Where they're like, oh well, hey, you're buying our games now. I guess Xbox games aren't that bad if you're buying them. And it's like, well, you also have to understand, dude, that like it's not necessarily a sign that the games are that good. I'm just being real. Like, they're fine, but there's a reason why it's selling well on PlayStation, because it falls right in that category of the game is good enough to appeal to people if you bring it to them. You say, here's a game, you can buy it and play it if you want, but it's nowhere near good enough to get people to go buy your console. And this is exactly what I've been fighting for this whole time, man. This is exactly what I've been fighting for. Like, make your fucking console appealing. That leads to further competition. Make the best fucking games in the industry and make them exclusive to your console so you get people to go buy your fucking console. It's not rocket science. This is what Sony and Nintendo have been doing for years. And now we want to see Microsoft and everybody else come out of the fucking woodwork and make it sound like, oh, this is a problem. Really? Suddenly it's a problem now? It was fine this whole time, but now it's a problem. Oh, okay. Gotcha. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. I don't know. Maybe it is the digital age, man. Maybe it is his boss eating the curtain. He is. He's such a weirdo, dude. He's such a weirdo. We got King Sam here with the super chat saying, hey, MBG, Final Fantasy 16 Rising Tide was pretty good. They know how to do boss fights. Great stuff. Set my PS3 up. Going for the platinum on Metal Gear Rising. That's awesome. Going for the platinum on Metal Gear Rising. Good shit, dude. And I'm glad you enjoyed the FF16 DLC. I haven't played it yet. I don't know if I'm going to anytime soon. I feel like I've gotten everything I need out of Final Fantasy 16, to be honest. Like, it would be a rare occurrence if I were to just suddenly go back and play it, especially with Stellar Blade coming up. But yeah, I've heard it's really good. And yeah, I mean, the most appealing thing about that DLC is probably the boss battle. You know, the boss battles in FF16 were, yeah, they were next level. So I appreciate that, King Sam. We have Titus Crow here saying, boss, I'd help getting those snacks, man, but YouTube does some of us dirty. PS Grounded runs games on PS5. I played it a good bit yesterday. Well, I appreciate it, Titus. It's all good, man. And yeah, Grounded runs fine on PlayStation. Again, man, I saw some Xbox fanboys, some fucking salty Xbox fanboys were getting all in their feelings and upset because I was talking about how Microsoft gave me a code for Grounded and I tried it out, and it's just like, damn, dude. See Rants here. What's up, man? Glad you could join us. But I'm just like really, guys, this is like, I don't even understand what they're running with anymore. Like, you know what I mean? It's like that's your leverage. That's your ammo, so to speak, is Microsoft gave me a code for your game? Damn. Okay. Well, whatever, bro. Like, whatever they need, I guess. But yeah, I didn't like Grounded. I'll be honest. I won't be accepting any more codes from Microsoft. I appreciate the gesture, and it's very nice of them. But this is just where it's like I've never. It's the same reason why I don't really care about getting codes from Sony, because it's like I'm not in it for that. I'm not in it for free games or early access to games. I don't give a shit about that. I give a shit about, I just want to play games that are really good and I really enjoy. Like, that's all, and I will absolutely fucking pay for them. Like, that's the point. And so, you know, it's just like, that's why I don't really accept codes from like other publishers or games, because I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like, unless it's a game like I'm really, like absolutely like super hyped for, maybe I'd consider it. But I don't know, dude. My whole mantra regarding games, it's always been the same, and it's that if I see a game I like, I buy it. That's it. It's that simple. It's always been that simple. It's never been more complicated than that. And I just hope, you know, I hope that remains the way it is. You know, I hope that didn't make sense. I hope that remains the way it will be. I don't think that makes sense either. Let me try to say it. I hope it stays that way. That's what I'm trying to say. Can't get my words straight today. Do I accept codes from Sony? No, I don't. Well, first off, I don't really get codes from Sony. But I mean, look, if Sony was like, yo, do you want an early do you want like a copy of Stellar Blade? I mean, maybe it's like, I mean, I was going to play it either way, but I want a physical copy, bro. Like, you know, that's how I am too. Like, I like to buy physical copies of games. So it's like, there's a myriad of reasons why I'm not trying to work with video game publishers. And again, this wasn't even me working with Microsoft because I didn't have to do anything. They literally just gave it to me. You're like, go play this shit if you want. And I'm like, okay, I'll go try it. But it was not fun and I didn't like it. So I'm like, I'm good. We got Dark Demon Media, member for 13 months, saying High on Life also runs better on the PS5. I sent you a lot of newly updated info on your X account. Sony and Microsoft CEO renewed their agreement for more. Oh, Sony and Microsoft are in cahoots again. I appreciate that, Dark Demon Media. Yeah, I try to keep up with some of the stuff that people send me on X/Twitter, but it's, it's tough. Dude, I put out this fucking post. People got so butthurt over it, man. Like, oh my God. I put out this post where I said, and it's so true. I said, we went from them denying that Xbox would ever go third party to celebrating how well their games are selling on PlayStation in a matter of 5 months. That's a cold, hard fact, dude. I didn't even give an opinion. I just stated a fact. And oh my God, the amount of tears that were flowing. The amount of tears that were flowing from me saying that. It's like, dude. PlayStation gamers won't go to Xbox, just like some think Steam goes to the Xbox handheld. You can't look up my name on Twitter. Yeah, I think I'm like shadow banned on Twitter or some shit. You're not the first person to say that. But yeah, these people, dude, they. Come on, boss. But yeah, I put that post out because it's true, man. It's been a wild ride for the past like 5 or 6 months. Like people were replying to that post by being like, well, the same thing happened with PlayStation. PlayStation fans never believed that games would go to PC, and now we're at a point where people are just seemingly okay with games going to PC. And it's like, yeah, but that occurred over the course of literal years. That took years, dude. This is a lot different where we're talking a time frame of less than 6 months. In less than 6 months, we went from complete denial, complete pushback that might, like, PlayStation fanboys are desperate to get Xbox games on their console, and it's never going to happen. Microsoft's never going to go full third party. You're not going to get Xbox games. To literally, in 2 months' time, there being a flood of rumors and panic and the destruction of Xbox influencers in real time, to where now it's just a matter of, okay, what's after Sea of Thieves? That's the whole thing about this, man, is that it's like, it's the time frame and how quickly people are willing. Like, do people move the goalposts all the time? That's expected with shit like this. The goalposts move all the time. And I've learned myself over the years that, the best thing to do is take the fucking goalpost down. Just remove it, because if you don't, you're going to have to keep moving it all over the place. You just got to be real about shit. That's all it is. For example, I said in my last stream, Sony is third party now. Don't shoot the messenger. Don't be mad at me. I didn't decide that, but that's the reality. Sony is third party because they support PC, and eventually most of their games are going to be on PC. That's the reality. That's what Sony decided. And if people want to use that as some kind of ammunition against PlayStation fanboys, yeah, they can. But only against the fanboys that are like, no, that's not true. That's not real. Like, no, you're in denial. That is true. That is real. That's just I don't know why people are in denial about it, because it's like that's a decision Sony made. Now, if you have a problem with it, or there's a reason why you think it shouldn't be that way, explain it. And I think as long as you explain it in a rational way, if that's, in a reasonable way, in a calm manner, then I think people would be maybe willing to hear you out. Maybe they'll still disagree. But I think that's the problem, is you get people, and this is this exact same thing I see with Xbox fans all the time, where they get fucking nuts about it. They get nuts about it. And it's like at what point are people going to realize that, like, you don't control any of this? You don't control jack shit. You don't get to decide where your games go, because they're not your games. They never were. They never will be. Just because you decided to invest in a company and buy their product and support it doesn't mean you're entitled to anything. However, what it does mean is that if that company does something like, for example, what Microsoft is doing, where it's like, hey, go play Sea of Thieves on PS5, and you get the better performing version. To me, yeah, Xbox players have every fucking right to turn to Microsoft and be like, why? Like, I went out there and I supported your console. I supported the losing team. And that's what you do? Yeah, they have every right to be pissed off. If that is true, why do you tell everybody PlayStation games will never go to Xbox? I never said that. I never said that. I see, this is where I think people, they read things that other people say and they assume that I'm saying the same thing. I never said that PlayStation games will never go to Xbox. In fact, if you really want to like keep score here and people, people claim that they keep the receipts. No, they don't. No, they fucking don't. They keep what they want to keep and they discard that doesn't fall on my agenda. If people want to really, keep that energy or whatever, however they want to fucking phrase it. About a year and a half ago, maybe by this point, I think it may have been 2 years ago, when Sony was ramping up their live service efforts, I explicitly stated multiple times, and I know some of you here remember me saying this, I said, I'm going to make a crazy, bold prediction, and a lot of people are going to say no fucking way, and I said I'll probably be wrong, but this is what I'm predicting, that Sony's going to put all of their live service games on Xbox. I said that. I even said, when this was before The Last of Us multiplayer was canceled, I said, you're going to see The Last of Us multiplayer on Xbox. And of course, when I said that, a lot of people were like, I don't think so. But little did we know, we were never even going to see The Last of Us multiplayer. But I was already there, dude. People, when we have these conversations, again, it's always a matter of like trying to gaslight people. And it's like, oh, well, I bet you're real concerned about if Sony goes day and date on PC, huh? It's like, well, no. So that's okay. Well, I bet you think they're not going to go day and date on PC. Like, no, not yet. No. And I've explained this very thoroughly. I've explained in depth why I don't believe Sony is going to dive in head first in releasing all their single player games on PC. And I noticed that people are not clipping that shit. People are not clipping that shit. But these people out here who get hate clicks and shit, they're not running with that because it makes too much sense. It makes too much sense, and they know that it's hard to argue. So therefore they stay away from it. But you know what isn't hard to argue, in my opinion? The simple reality that a console manufacturer with video game studios that produces video games should try to prioritize by any means necessary to have the better version of their game on their console for their customers, not the competitor's console. Now, I know people might say, well, hey, don't you experience this with PlayStation already with games on PC? We do, but that's a completely different situation. Nobody looks at PC when a game launches on PC and says, my console version should be better than that. How is that even possible? That's not even a remote possibility. Like, you're asking a $500 console to compete with like a $2,000 rig or a $3,000 rig? What? So they're two completely different conversations. One pertains to the console market and the competition between the consoles, and the other is honestly just two different markets. They're similar in some ways, but at the end of the day, they are very different. It's just some of the takes I see out there, man. It's like, what's going on with people? Like, for example, the other day, I saw it trending all over Twitter where like it's Xbox fans celebrating the fact that I think like 7 of the 20 best-selling games on the PlayStation Store are Microsoft owned. And it's like, what? Again, like, what are you celebrating, bro? You're celebrating the fact that Microsoft bought publishers and their games, and now Microsoft, see, I knew they would do it. They did exactly what I knew what they would do, what I thought they would do, which is once Microsoft puts their little Xbox stamp, the Microsoft Xbox stamp on the games, these fanboys will be like, yeah, that's my team, baby. We're winning. It's like, you guys are fucking pathetic, bro. I'm sorry. Like, look, I understand PlayStation fans get made fun of and shit. And sure, are there some fucking idiot PlayStation fanboys out there that look like morons? Of course. But they're everywhere. You know, like there's idiots everywhere. But it's just like I'm just shocked that people are backing this shit up where they're like, yeah, bro, Microsoft's winning. It's like, okay. All right, this is what we're doing. All right, they're winning. All right. It's wild, man. Like, listen, I get it. I get it to an extent. It makes the conversations interesting and it makes for some good entertainment value, but it's like these so-called wins and losses, I think that they need to be measured a little bit more accurately here and a little bit more honestly. And yeah, I mean, what even is the definition of winning at this point, bro? I'm convinced at this point the definition of winning is it's all just illusion. You know, everybody's definition is different, and some people's definitions are just whack. Mark with a $20 super chat. Really appreciate it, Mark. You're saying, what's up, MBG? Personally, I'm getting tired of the whining about games coming to platforms. I never played Sea of Thieves on Xbox because I don't have the platform. I pre-ordered the PS5 version, tried the beta, and loved it. And there you go. There you go. I agree. Listen, I don't think there's anything wrong with games going to other platforms because it's clear by now, right? Like, it's clear that this is something that all video game publishers, maybe except for Nintendo, don't do it. I think Nintendo might be the only one not considering it. And I think it's safe to say that Nintendo's probably not going to consider it. Outside of Nintendo, however, I think it seems pretty clear that every video game publisher is weighing their options, considering playing the field a little bit. Sony's been doing that. Microsoft's doing that now to it. Oh, boss, you are testing me today. Get down. Get down right now. Boss, you need to get down, boy. Can you guys see him? Come on, you gotta go. You gotta get down. Here. Go get your snacks. Go. Get out of my way. Boss is trying to skew this conversation, man. Actually saying that's what makes Nintendo awesome. To some people, yeah, for sure. Some people love that about Nintendo, and I get it. It's hard not to. Again, I talked about this last week. It's like you gotta respect it to a degree where it's like they're not fucking moving, dude. They're not. Whether it's right or wrong, you gotta respect it just for the sake of like they're not budging. And Exley comes in. Exley gets some Trismegistus. Let me see here. There we go. He's dropping 5 more memberships for you guys. Exley just brought us up to 15 members on the day. Thank you so much for that, Exley. Really appreciate all the support you continue to show me, the channel, and the community here. And I see that you've got your 12-month membership badge as well. Good shit, dude. Really appreciate that. Love to see it. Don't knock that over. Boss is being... We're 10 away. All right, we're 10 memberships away from letting Boss have his snacks. Somebody's got to drop a 10 bomb here because he is... Look at him. Do you see him? He's like hugging the snacks. He's like, please. Please feed me these snacks. And don't be fooled. I fed this cat this morning. I fed him this morning. I found these snacks lying on the ground earlier today when I woke up. Damn, bro. He truly is. It looks so desperate. He's like, please, God. It's not up to me, boss. It's up to this community. I will hold you hostage. See, look, boss. Exley drops another 5 for you. In the name of boss, Exley drops another 5 memberships, making it a total of 10, bringing us up to 20. Boss, we're just 5 away now, bro. We're 5 away. And we can feed you. You desperate cat. And Corey does it. Corey comes through. Corey drops another 5 bomb for you guys. And just like that, the first goal of the day is decimated. Exley and Corey once again tag teaming that shit. Getting it done. Doing the heavy lifting. Really appreciate that, guys. Seriously. Boss is obviously extremely appreciative because now he gets to have his snacks. Do you see how he perks up when he hears the word snacks? Do you want your snacks? You ready? Let's go. Back up. Enjoy, boss. Thank you guys for that. Boss thanks you as well. Boss is very happy now. Look, oh my God, look at him. He's tearing that shit up. And Michael Cintron's keeping this membership train rolling today. He drops another 5 memberships for you guys. So just like that, that's 20 memberships gifted, bringing us up to 30. Kind of glad I didn't start the goal at 25 today because we're already past the 25 mark. Michael, thank you so much.
Holy shit.
You guys are killing it. And just a reminder to anybody who's gifted a channel membership, if we have any new viewers here who happen to get gifted a membership, you gain access to the members lounge. Now we don't do members lounges on Sundays, but we have plenty of members lounge episodes out there. In fact, we did one on Thursday and it was nearly 2 hours long. So be sure to go check that out. Said I got to move the. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's my fault. I'm gonna give him a couple more. He loves this flavor. It's backyard cookout chicken liver and beef. He loves it. I was telling you guys that those snacks. I'm not eating them. I refuse to ever eat a cat snack. But I was telling you those snacks smell kind of good. Like I'm like, what are they? They reminded me of something. The way that these snacks smell, I'm like, they smell like something. What is it? And it hit me the other day. I'm like, dude, it smells like McDonald's. Like, no joke. It smells like McDonald's chicken or like chicken nuggets and fries. So if that's what that shit tastes like, no wonder why Boss is going nuts. Because you know what Boss likes to eat? Boss likes to eat McDonald's chicken nuggets. He does. He loves them. Not that I give him McDonald's chicken nuggets. I'm not going to be eating McDonald's, I don't know, for a very, very long time. I started a new diet. I'm eating clean. I'm eating healthy, and McDonald's has no place in that. I'm a natural lifter here. You know that, but I'm looking to get shredded, bro. I'm not saying I'm going to get to like 10% body fat or 5% body fat, but I'm looking to really get much healthier. Hence his belly. Oh my God, boss. He decimated those. And we got Ninja Raiden coming in. Oh, and I see his profile pictures. It is literally Ninja Raiden. Good shit, bro. Dropping 5 more membership gifts for you guys. He's keeping it going. I think this is the first time I'm seeing Ninja Raiden gift. At least it feels that way. Really appreciate that, man. It's always nice to see new people kind of popping up, dropping some membership gifts, paying it forward. You just brought us up to 35 on the day. I'm going to shrink this just a little bit. Let me add that to the counter. So we're now sitting at 35 members. We're now 15 away from hitting a second goal. You guys are awesome. Keep it up, guys. Keep it up. I want to go back to Mark's super chat, though. Okay? Just to Titus says, just one MBG. You will love it. Titus, I'm listen. I can't, dude. I'm like, I don't know what's in this. Oh, actually, hold on, the ingredients. Dude, there's so much shit in here. I don't know what any of this is. These actually look like they're fortified with vitamins and shit. Watch them actually be pretty healthy. If I were to ever try a cat treat, it would have to be on a special occasion. Certainly not today. So I can't fault you for trying, Titus. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Begins by saying, I will never try a cat treat. Ends by saying, maybe one day. It's not made for humans. New member goal. All right. Let me go back to Mark's super chat. Mark was saying here, and I just want to, I'm going to reread it so we can get back to what he said. He said, personally, I'm getting tired of the whining about games coming to platforms. I never played Sea of Thieves on Xbox, but I don't have the platform. I pre-ordered the PS5 version, tried the beta, and loved it. And I agree with this, Mark. I do think that the conversation surrounding other games coming to other platforms, it is getting a bit tired because it feels like it's the same thing over and over again. And it's just a matter of like the people who continue to fight it, what's it going to take for them to just accept it? Because at some point they're going to get tired of yelling about it. And I agree with that. Like that goes, again, the only outlier here is Nintendo. But when it comes to Sony, when it comes to Microsoft, things have changed and they are continuing to change. And as we've seen with Microsoft, they're changing rapidly. And I have no problem with, I have no problem entertaining the conversation of PlayStation games maybe going other places. It's just the thing that makes that conversation difficult is there's not much to go off of. You know what I mean? There's really not much to go off of. For example, even Helldivers 2, like that conversation about Helldivers 2 coming to PlayStation, Helldivers 2 coming to PlayStation, Helldivers 2 coming to Xbox, that conversation didn't last very long, but it was a little bit annoying when it occurred because it was like, look, it's Sony's either going to do it or they're not, and the CEO of the studio straight up just said, like, yeah, that's in Sony's hands and we don't have control over that. And we heard nothing. Like, we heard literally nothing. Sony did not give any indication whatsoever that a game like Helldivers 2 is going to release on Xbox. So a conversation like that dies down pretty quick. People get pretty worked up about it, but it dies down pretty quick because, again, like, there's not much to go off of where it's already on PC. It's killing on PC. It's on console, on the PS5. It's killing on PS5. And then by that point, it's like, okay, well, is there any rumor? Is there any indication? Is there anything that points to Helldivers 2 going to Xbox? It's like, no, there's nothing. There's literally nothing to go off of. But when it comes to Xbox, I think this conversation has persisted for this reason. And I think it's because Microsoft is being a little bit disingenuous. I do. I think Microsoft, again, I know a lot of people made fun of me when I reacted to the business update that they gave, but I was fucking so annoyed watching it because I'm like, I just feel like I'm watching a company bullshit their fan base in real time, where it's like, just say it. Like why are you so afraid of just saying it when everybody pretty much has already not accepted, but the meltdowns have already occurred. Like, just say what you're doing. Just do it. Just rip the fucking Band-Aid off. And honestly, if Sony is going to do more, I want Sony to do the same thing. Like, just rip the Band-Aid off. I don't want any of this, like, inch by inch bullshit while trying to tell people what they think they want to hear. Like, just say it, man. Just say, like, we're doing this and we're doing that, and this is why. And that's it. I actually think that's the better way to do it because it's like, believe it or not, people will be more accepting. than I think they even realize. And in a way, I think people kind of respect that. People kind of just respect the like no nonsense, like, listen, this is how we used to do things and we're not doing them that way anymore. This is how we're doing them. And it's because money and we're a business and we hope you understand. Thank you. Please be excited. You know, it's like, I get it. I get it. Are they going to lose some people? Yeah. Are some people going to have meltdowns? Yeah. But I do agree that the conversation gets old and it gets tired, but I think there's a reason for this. I do. I think there is some kind of marketing tactic behind it. I think it's like, why is it that Phil Spencer, you know, he worded it during the Xbox business update, he's like, hey, we're doing just 4 games right now. And then he was asked the question, like, is Starfield or Indiana Jones one of those 4 games? And he says no. And people fell for that. You know, I saw people all over the internet. They were like, see, Indiana Jones and Starfield are never coming to PlayStation. It's like, that's not what he said. Like, that is literally not what he said. He specifically, that question was asked in a hyper-specific way to lead to a hyper-specific answer, to where he didn't say they're not coming to PlayStation. He said these 4 games, those are not, neither of these games are part of those 4. And then when he was asked in a separate interview that was a written one, he straight up said, like, yeah, we're not going to say no to anything. And this is why, like, I tried telling people at the time, it's like, there's no reason to lose your shit over it. It's just, it's obvious what Microsoft's doing. They're testing the waters. They're going to see if they can actually make money off of PlayStation. And if they can, they're going to put more games on the PlayStation. It's that simple. That's all it comes down to. My whole argument here, and I think this is a fair argument, dude. And Mark, I think this is separate from what you're saying. Like, you're saying you're tired of the whining about games coming to other platforms. And yeah, I do agree. I've been following PlayStation for many years now. And again, like, I remember what it was like when Sony first announced that Horizon Zero Dawn was going to PlayStation, or PC, from PlayStation to PC. And the meltdowns were insane and they were all over the place. And then as the years went on, like, they just stopped because people just, again, they just realized, like, this is just how it's going to be. Doesn't matter how much we freak out about it. Sony already made their decision. You know, we just got to decide where we want to play. And, you know, this is why I also do feel that if Sony's end game here, truthfully, if their end game, like, they already know, we don't know, but if Sony already established internally, we're going to go day and date with all our games, I wish they would just do it. And like I said, get it over with. But something tells me that they haven't done that because they have not decided on that yet. I think they're undecided. And I think they're not willing to even talk about it because I just think right now it's not on the table, at least for single player games. But anyway, I think this conversation is different from that, Mark, in that, like, what I think is worth complaining about here is how frankly pathetic it looks. It's not, it's not even pathetic. It is pathetic in one sense, but it's just more egregious, like unnecessarily egregious to their own fan base, where it's like, look, I'll laugh, of course. Like, LOL, imagine being an Xbox owner and finding out that people on PlayStation, the people who were not willing to go out and support Xbox, get the better console version. The people who fell for the 12 teraflop marketing, they get not the worst version, but like a version with less advantages or no advantages, actually. Again, is this enough for a person to say, fuck this console, fuck this brand, fuck this platform? Maybe not. But it should be enough to get them to be like, Microsoft, what the hell are you doing? This is just where in all seriousness, like, listen, I know Microsoft wants to succeed on PlayStation, and that's fine. If I was Microsoft, I would want to succeed on PlayStation as well, because you're going to make lots of money doing that. It's a big install base, a lot of potential new fans, new players. But man, stuff like this, it's a slap to the face where it's like, if I was Phil Spencer, dude, I would absolutely talk to Rare and be like, listen, I'm not going to ask you guys to throttle anything. I want parity. Like, no, I don't want to see advantages on the PS5 version. I want parity. That's what I would say. Because it's like, I mean, who could really argue against that? Where that's not nefarious. That's just like, we need to make sure that when Digital Foundry does their analysis, Xbox buyers and players don't tune in and hear, yeah, the PS5 has some advantages. That is insane, dude. If I had an Xbox, I would literally sell it and buy a PlayStation, because at that point, I would believe not only are your games just going to come to PlayStation eventually, but they're going to be better. But I also get all of Sony's games. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's insane to me that I'm not, like, to be honest, it's not like, I don't even, it has almost nothing to do with even the Xbox fans. I think that there are some fans who are still in denial and still acting a little bit ridiculous, but it's just, again, it's my confusion around Microsoft, where it's like, how could you let something like this happen? And I get it. I guess like at the end of the day, is this a deal breaker? For most people, probably not, truthfully. But the thing is like, what's the message you're sending right now? Because to me, that's what's important. Like, again, if you're somebody who's heavily invested in the Xbox ecosystem, is what you're seeing with Sea of Thieves on PlayStation and Hi-Fi Rush on PlayStation enough to make you say, you know what, I'm done? Probably not. But you now have to wonder, well, what is next? What other games are going to come to PlayStation? And what will I think if a year from now or 2 years from now, we do see Starfield, we do see Indiana Jones, we do see Halo potentially on PlayStation, and it is still offering some kind of advantage? In my opinion, that is Microsoft fast-tracking the death of their console. I mean, the complete death of their console, where it's like, you are giving people literally no reason, slowly but surely, to even look at your console. And again, it falls back down to the question of, how is this competition? How is this helping competition? This seems like the opposite of helping competition. This seems like it's hurting competition. And that's the more, to me, nefarious side of it, where I understand that a lot of people are like, well, Microsoft just wants to be a publisher now, and Sony still cares about console sales, and that's the difference. But I don't know, man. I'm not so sure that Microsoft gobbling up publishers, and again, like, I just don't understand the celebratory nature of, hey, look at how many games Microsoft has on the top 20 on PS5, and again, like, we're sitting here counting Call of Duty. Like, what exactly are you advocating for again? I'm confused. What are we celebrating again? How does this benefit me or you again? Like, I'm confused. And that's the realization, is it doesn't. It just doesn't. You could argue maybe Game Pass, but even then, it's like there's still some question marks that remain for some reason. Also, I'm over the whole Game Pass thing. I am. Like, I by this point in time, it should be obvious that Game Pass has not helped the industry. Microsoft is still on the Sega route. Yeah. Saying Xbox is a corpse at this point, MBG, let it go. Well, It's going to be hard to let it go because, again, man, I'm like, there's going to be this void. They're all like, the void is beginning to reveal itself. Where, look, Microsoft is, in my opinion, not the best competition to Sony in the console space, but they were the, they were other, again, looking at Nintendo and just kind of viewing Nintendo doing its own thing, they were kind of, Microsoft was really the only other viable competitor to Sony. And I just feel like everybody was bamboozled, man. I do. I feel like Microsoft was like, we're doing all of this in the name of competition. We want to compete with Sony. And it's like, no, you don't. You just want to sidestep. No, not even. You want to overstep everything. You want to get out of competing with Sony. And this is your way out. And it's true. And look at it now. It has worked. It has come to pass where it's like, yeah, dude, Microsoft is not competing with Sony at all. Like, dude, honestly, Microsoft probably doesn't give a fuck about their own hardware at this point. They're just like, yeah, whatever, we'll just make it. We'll crap it out, sure. But we don't care, dude. Do you see how much money we're making from PlayStation? We love the PlayStation console. It's like, what? That's not competition, bro. I mean, it's funny to laugh at, be like, wow, look at what has happened. But it's like, wait, is this a bad thing? Ultimately, it might be. We don't know for sure. We have to see. Microsoft is still playing coy. They're still being a little bit wishy-washy with their messaging. Kareem Ali, thank you for the super chat. You're saying, hi MBG, did you see someone discovered Sweet Baby Inc. tweeted years ago that they're working on Wolverine? I think I'm going to just boycott Insomniac until they stop this. I'm so tired. Am I the only one? No, you're not the only one. I did see that. And shit's so disappointing, man. It really is. Like, look, I'm not going to dive too deep into this because I know this conversation also gets old. But yeah, I saw that tweet. Somebody tagged me in it. And it was back in 2021 when Wolverine was first revealed, before people really knew who Sweet Baby Inc. was. They posted on their Twitter account that they were working on Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine. And since then, we've seen the complete undoing and unraveling of a company like Sweet Baby Inc. And I've seen a lot of people, I don't want to say defending Sweet Baby Inc., but basically just kind of coming in and being like, what's the big deal? Who cares? They probably have minimal influence on these games. And it's like, again, you're missing the point if that's how you feel. We need to push back as hard as we can with stuff like this, because if you don't, like, what people need to understand, and this is what I've learned, the people who run a company like Sweet Baby Inc., they have a mission, dude. Like, they are, in their minds, they are on a mission, and it's a singular mission. And that mission is to not make great games. In fact, it has nothing to do with video games, and it has everything to do with ideology. They have a specific ideology, and they will do anything and everything they can to ensure that they can transplant that ideology and force it into any and every game possible. And this is why when people discovered Sweet Baby Inc., and more importantly, they discovered just how many games Sweet Baby Inc. is involved in, people erupted and lost their shit. Because it's not just, boss, come on, man. Come on. You gotta go. It's not just one or two games. It's like a lot of major AAA games. And it's not even just what they're doing in the games. What people have discovered is, they were doing a little bit of research. They were trying to learn, who is the CEO of Sweet Baby Inc.? Who is working for this company? Do these people have a presence on social media? And there's, yes, the answer is yes. These people do have a presence on social media. And the CEO has also revealed her hand multiple times and made it clear, like, what her whole agenda is. But more importantly, there are terrible people working at this company. I mean, actual just racist individuals who are extremists. They have extremist ideology. And these are the types of people that are being hired by these companies. And these are the types of people that are having influence over storytelling in the video game industry. And my question is, what the fuck? Why? How has this happened? How has a group of talentless hacks who have nothing to offer in this industry, and it's been proven they have nothing to offer, because if they did, they wouldn't have to form their groups and desperately inject themselves and force themselves into these big projects that they otherwise would have no involvement in. Who? I'm honestly beginning to point more of the finger at Insomniac and studios that willingly work with these companies. Where, dude, if these people are so good at what they do, fucking hire them. I mean, hire the employees that work for Sweet Baby Inc. and hire them in your studio if you think they're that good. No, you don't think they're that good, and you're hiring them for fucking, what are they, ESG points, right? Like, you're hiring them because you want to look good to all of the important people that are going to keep the money flowing, supposedly, right? That's why you're hiring them. That's why Insomniac has mandatory meetings. Insomniac forces mandatory meetings with other employees, with all different types of people, you know, like trans people, gay people, people of all different cultures and ethnicities. And I'm like, what the fuck does that have to do with making Spider-Man, bro? Like, what? Like, this is where your money's going? Like, what are you doing? It's frustrating, dude, where it's like, I don't know where these people came from. I don't know why the fuck they're here, but they need to go away, dude, because they're not helping the gaming industry. They are just causing nothing but strife and stress and frustration. And it's because it's because they have an agenda that they want to push, because they believe for some reason that every person who plays video games is some kind of white male that is racist, homophobic, and everything in between. And it's like, no, that is not the demographic. Like, that is not the market. Are there people like that who play video games? Absolutely. They're everywhere. They're all over the fucking world. But to take this like nuclear approach of like, we have to fucking put this everywhere and we got to force it and we got to focus on it, it's tiresome. And yes, knowing that Sweet Baby Inc. is working on Wolverine, it automatically taints it, in my opinion, because I know too much. I know too much about Sweet Baby Inc. And it's going to be extremely difficult for me to take 70 of my dollars, buy Wolverine, knowing that Insomniac willingly said, we want to hire this company and work with them. You know, it's like, dude, you're just, what do you, like, why? Why do you need to hire people with, like, I'm not asking Insomniac to go hire extreme right-wing wingers, right? Like, hey, man, go hire the most extreme conservatives out there to make your game. I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying, like, just find fucking normal people that don't have this insane, fucked up, distorted ideological, like, brain rot. Plus on black. No, I am not. No, I am not. And that's where you're wrong. I am not fucking saying that. I'm simply saying hire normal, rational people to just fucking, first and foremost, focus on making a good story with good characters. And then after that, if you want to ask some questions like, you know, what about inclusivity? What about this? And it's like, where it's appropriate, sure. If it fits in naturally, sure. This forced bullshit of like, well, we got to make sure all the women are equal to the men. Why? Like, if you want to have a fucking game, like for example, let's take Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade is a fucking strong female character that's whooping ass, bro. Beastin'. Like, you know, it seems, as far as I could tell, I haven't seen a single male in that game that can compete with Eve. And that's perfectly fucking fine. That's perfectly fucking fine. Could Eve whoop my fucking ass? Absolutely. You see what I'm saying? Like, but if you have these fucking weird ass Western game devs make a game like Stellar Blade, not only are they going to tone down how she looks, they're going to Be like, well, you know, we got to make sure there's some fucking hideous, ugly character in the corner there that's just as strong as Eve for reasons. For reasons. Like, oh, okay, I guess. I'm just tired of it, man. I'm tired of all this bullshit that's like, dude, just leave it out of games. Leave it out of everything. Because when it comes to... Listen. I am 100% for eradicating racism, eradicating homophobia, eradicating all this shit. I am 100% for let people be who they are as long as they're not hurting anybody, right? Or attacking people. I'm 100% for that. But what I'm also realizing is that there's always going to be these people. And no matter how aggressive you get towards them, they're not going to go away. They're not. Like, there's always going to be shitty people in the world. You can hate shitty people with a passion. You can make it your life's mission to snuff out all the horrible people on the planet. They're never going to go away. And so the harder you push against that, the more attention you're going to bring to it. And sometimes that's actually going to backfire. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing. That's exactly what we're seeing. Like, there are more people. It's just, it all comes down to, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And how people who believe they have such great intentions, how they're choosing to say things, people are not okay with it. People are not agreeing with it. And then these people who are saying these things and have these opinions and have these ideologies, they get all offended. They get all worked up. And they also get all worked up and offended because they also, I know it's so shocking, they attract the shitty people. They attract them, right? Like, it's like flies on shit, man. Or it's like, what did you think would happen? What did you think would happen? You're doing things that are purposely meant to infuriate and bother those specific types of people. Like, you're going above and beyond to make that happen. What did you think would happen? More people are pushing back than I've ever seen before against this shit. And all I can say is that if there was some kind of good intention at the heart of this, if there was some kind of good, like, we need to spread a positive message and help, sway people. Well, I think you totally lost it. I think you lost the plot. We're seeing pretty much the opposite happen. And again, man, it all comes back down to extremist ideology. I'm so fucking tired of it. I'm so tired of it, man. Like, I've seen people saying that, like, oh, I didn't notice anything in Spider-Man 2. Like, are you serious? Like, you cannot be serious, man. Like, you really didn't notice anything in like, nothing. Nothing at all. There's no difference between Spider-Man 2018 and Spider-Man 2. Nothing. Okay. And see, that's where I'm just like, if that's really how people feel, it's like, you know what? I'm just going to walk away, bro, because look, I'm not saying it's night and day, but there are very obviously changes that were made and certain things that were prioritized where it's like, okay, I guess this is a thing, right? Like, I guess we can do this if that's what you want to do, but like, why? It's like, do you really want to know why? Do you really want to know why? Geronimo, I'm not saying anything in Spider-Man 2 is extremist. No, I'm not. But what I'm telling you is that the people with these extreme ideologies, they are slowly but surely making their way in. They have to pass through filters, of course. Have you seen the type of games that they make on their own? They have to pass through filters first. But they're getting there. They're getting there. And I'm just saying, man, like, listen, all I'm going to say is this. If you want to know what companies like Sweet Baby Inc. do, here you go. Stellar Blade. It's a game that, based off of what I could tell, everybody's excited for. Everybody is excited for Stellar Blade, from what I can tell, except for, again, a small vocal group of people. If you want to know what a company like Sweet Baby Inc. does, hand Stellar Blade to them. Hand Stellar Blade to them, and I promise you, you won't enjoy the changes they make. You won't enjoy what happens next. In fact, you will be like, why did you do that? And they won't explain it to you, because if they tried to explain it to you, it would sound kind of crazy. And then they would expose themselves. And then people would begin to realize, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You already know what would happen to Stellar Blade. You already know exactly what would happen to Stellar Blade if that game went through the Sweet Baby Inc. filter. And it would be fucking sad to witness. Jay Shako, you got a little laugh out of me there, bro. I'm not going to lie. And I'm just saying, like, look, I'm just saying, if Stellar Blade proves something, it's that we don't need companies like Sweet Baby Inc. involved whatsoever. In fact, I've actually seen a new thing being pointed out, that the people who are against Stellar Blade, I've seen this multiple times, by the way, and this is like, holy shit, this is actually getting real now, where people are putting comparison photos of the main character of Eve next to the body model that was actually hired, a real human being, a woman that was hired to be the model. They modeled Eve's body after her body, and I don't know if they modeled her face after her as well. They probably did, because she looked like she had a, perfectly fine looking face. And people are basically pointing out, like, how the fuck are you going to be mad when this is based off of a real person? Like, this woman really looks like this. And so it's turning into this whole thing of, like, now it's, again, and it's true. It's because it reveals the shittiness where people are trying to body shame this woman because this is just how she naturally looks. And now it's even getting taken to a point where I've seen some people pointing out that this is now becoming a form of racism against, Asians or Koreans or whatever. And, well, I don't know if I'm going to take it that far, but it's like, it's people are beginning to realize how ridiculous this is becoming. And I hope that, people realize we do not need companies like Sweet Baby Inc. involved in the gaming industry. If these people were so talented and so good at their jobs, they wouldn't need to leech off of actual good studios that know what they're doing and know how to make good games that appeal to the wide market. They wouldn't have to do that. But they do it anyway. Rather than making their own games, because they know that if they tried to make their own games, they would fail. It's so ass backwards and upside down. And look, my excitement for Wolverine, I'm gonna at least see it, right? Like, I'm gonna at least see it and see what it looks like, and I'll give Insomniac the chance to present it, because again, like, I played Spider-Man 2 and I did have fun. It's like, I don't want to make it sound like, look, do people make it sound like Spider-Man 2 is smashing you over the fucking head every minute of every moment of that game with, like, woke propaganda? No, it's not that extreme, but it's there and you can feel it. There are multiple times in Spider-Man 2 where I'm just cringing. I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. Here we go, where we gotta, have this segment now, and we gotta make sure it's whatever, dude. It's whatever. I don't even want to get into it, because it's cringe, dude. It's cringe. And everybody fucking knows it is. Everybody knows it's cringe. And everybody ultimately knows that, like, this is not why we buy and play a Spider-Man game. And when I see nothing but fucking complaints in this industry about everything's too expensive, games are taking too long to make, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well then why the fuck are you wasting your time with all this bullshit that nobody asked for? Why, like, is this where the fucking money's going? And this is why people are getting laid off. It's a fucking joke, dude. This industry is turning into a fucking goddamn joke. And I'm tired of sitting here pretending like it is. And it fucking is. I don't care if I piss people off because it's like, you know what? Go support what you want to support. I'm going to support what I want to support. I've had it, man. Like, I've had it. Like, everybody fucking made the joke about Wolverine, and I was like, just kind of laughing about it. But now it's like, no, it is going to fucking be Wolverine. It fucking is. It is. You watch. There's going to be some dumbass stuff they shove in that game where it's like, I'm just trying to enjoy a Wolverine game here, bro. Like, what am I doing right now? Who proved this? Who said this has got to be in the game? I guarantee it. I fucking guarantee it. And this is what frustrates me. It does, because it's just, listen, if the industry was different, and everything was booming right now, if everything was booming right now, it's like nobody's getting laid off, everything's going great, everybody's hiring everybody, we're getting more games than ever, it would be easier to maybe justify this and be like, okay, I guess, like, it would at least make sense where it's like, all right, now we're starting to see this kind of proliferate a little bit. But this is what freaks me the fuck out, is it's the literal opposite, dude. It's the literal opposite of like, dude, this is the worst I've ever seen the industry. And now this shit is really, this is what they're making the big push towards? Are you fucking kidding me? Geronimo is saying you got to get out of the echo chambers. It's not an echo chamber, dude. It's really not. And to explain to you why it's not an echo chamber, it's because you have to understand that the people who are influencing these games, those are the people that are in echo chambers, bro. Does it create another, like, an antithetical echo chamber? It does. Yes, it does. Of course. Are there echo chambers that are like straight up like you guys are basically becoming racist and homophobic? Yes. Yes, that exists. Again, that always exists. No matter what. Just like there will always be people who are going to do everything in their power to snuff that out. And I'm not even saying that's a bad thing, but it's like, again, dude, like, it's like you fight fire with fire, everybody's going to get burned. That's just the reality. And that's exactly what's happening right now, is everybody's fucking getting burned. No, I don't believe that what I'm saying is coming from an echo chamber, because, again, like, I'm the person that's willing to also say, like, I'm not out here saying burn Spider-Man 2 and it's a fucking pile of garbage. I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying that's what Wolverine's going to be. What I'm saying is I'm just revealing the real thing, which is there is a group that is an echo chamber that has infiltrated the gaming industry and is trying to project their echo chamber into those studios and convince them that it's not an echo chamber. This is actually what you need to do for reasons. And this is progress. And these studios are falling for it, bro. And it's sad. It's sad because it's like, that's coming, again, from a vocal extremist echo chamber that should not be here. You could be right about that. Again, that's kind of like K the Barbarian. That's a good point. That's like a chicken and egg scenario. And I do think trying to pinpoint who started it is also fruitless. I do. Like, oh, well, you know, Sweet Baby Inc. is the natural fucking repercussion of too much. Like, look, listen, man. Listen, there are fucking terrible people out there. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Like, and they've always been there, and they've been part of the gaming industry. They've had positions of power in the gaming industry. They shouldn't have power in the gaming industry. These types of people who are actually like genuinely fucking racist and homophobic and toxic and shitty, like, they don't have a place, as far as I'm concerned, of having any type of power. We need reasonable, rational adults. That's all. That's all. And what I'm trying to communicate here is that what I've learned about Sweet Baby Inc. is those are not reasonable, rational adults. That's what I'm trying to say. That's why I also said earlier, like, I don't want to see another company pop up that's extreme right wing, total opposite. Another echo chamber. That you know what I mean? So they can just fight each other and we get no results. Like, no, this is why I do try to, push people in the direction of a game like Stellar Blade, where like I've listened to these developers speak. I've looked into the creation of this game somewhat deeply, and what I've realized is the people who are making Stellar Blade, I'm not getting any vibe from them whatsoever that they're like some kind of extreme radicals or have some kind of intense agenda. The only thing I get from them is they want it to make a really cool action RPG and they want it to put a sexy woman as the main protagonist. And they made a lot of really cool outfits for her. The worst thing you could say is maybe they're a little horny over there. Maybe. But I don't like, to me, I'm like, I just keep seeing people try to like tell me like why this is bad or why I should be upset. It's like, why though? Like, what are they doing that's hurting? If not hurting other people, like, I just don't understand. Like, is it because it's gonna offend like fat people or women who are not busty? I don't quite understand what the problem is. To whereas on the other side, when I see the shit that people are pointing out about like, yo, look at the people who work for Sweet Baby Inc. Look at the shit. Like, listen to this GDC talk or this, I think it was a GDC talk back in 2019 where the CEO is basically talking about scaring the shit out of publishers to get their way. I'm like, what the fuck? Who are these people? Like, how do they have positions of power? It's shit like that where I'm like, it is disturbing that multiple PlayStation studios are basically going to a company like this and saying, can you help us make our game better? Please? Like, you guys don't even have enough faith in yourselves? It's annoying. It's annoying, dude. People just need to be rational, okay? And they need to be reasonable. And listen, if you're somebody who views maybe a game like Stellar Blade, you look at the character of Eve and you see that they decided to go with a very, busty, attractive female and really put that on display. If you think that's irrational and that's immature, I'm not going to fart. I'm not going to fart. I'm not going to argue with you or fight you. Right? Like, I'm just going to say, okay, then listen. There's probably a game out there for you where it's the opposite, where it's just a regular looking female or maybe even an unattractive female, and you can go play that. My whole thing is don't try to push some fucking bullshit notion, because I'm not telling Sweet Baby Inc. you can't make inclusive games about like your fucking extremist ideology. You can't make these fucking extreme left games. No, I'm saying the opposite. Go make your extreme left games where you can have everything you want in those games. Every character can be super gay or trans or whatever, and ugly and fat. You can do whatever you want in these games. Go make them. I'm asking you, please just don't try to tell other fucking game devs how they should make their games and what they need to do. Worry about your own shit and let the market speak for itself. Let the market speak for itself. And that's it. That's all it comes. In my opinion, that's the most adult thing people can do. The most adult thing people can do is say, I'm going to worry about my shit. I'm going to make what I want to make. And I'm going to make it the best it can be. And I'm going to hope that the market likes it. That's it. And you know what? They can do what they're going to do. Main problem is ESG money. You're probably right. Yeah, I have to look deeper into that. I keep seeing talk about how this does like basically all come back down to like BlackRock and shit. And I'm like, I don't know enough about that aspect of it to really feel confident in saying something either way. But if you're saying it all goes to BlackRock, I could believe that. If basically what you're saying is there's very rich, powerful people at the top that are essentially like working people like puppets, working just basically saying like this is how it's got to be because I deem it so. I would believe that. I know that sounds conspiratorial to some people, but no, that's literally how this shit works. That's literally how all things work, whether anybody knows it or not. Patrick Murphy's got that fucking quote locked. Look, I know people are quick to label others as conspiracy theorists and whatnot, and I understand. Can people take it too far? Can people actually get a little nuts about it? For sure. You're talking to the blue box guy here. Trust me, if there's anybody who knows what it's like to lose your fucking mind over something that's not real, it's me. But in learning through that experience, I've realized that there is a lot of shit that does have truth to it. And it's much more subtle. It's so much more subtle than you would realize. It's like the saying goes, like the best trick the devil ever played was convincing people he's not real. I think that that's a great quote because obviously it's biblical, but it's something that I think can speak to a lot of different things. Again, you don't have to take it literally. I'm not saying it's the devil. I'm not saying it's literally, maybe it's literally the devil. Again, that's your personal belief, but I'm saying that the takeaway message from that is that the things that could be doing the most damage and the things that the people or the groups that could be doing the most damage also might be the most camouflaged. You might not see them. They're the least obvious. That's all. Just got to be aware. Pushing Polygon says, MBG George Carlin had a great quote about this. These people went to the same schools. They belong to the same clubs. Of course, they have aligning views. It isn't some conspiratorial cabal. Dude, George Carlin was amazing. That guy knew, bro. And Chris Brown, I'm sorry, man. I almost missed your super chat here. Damn, you really got me going on that one. I didn't mean to go saying George Carlin is a lefty. Yeah, but he had a way with words, bro. He had a way with words, and he was funny as shit. Chris Brown, you're saying people were saying Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League was woke because Wonder Woman had a majestic death, but she was melted to death by Superman. I'm confused though on the outrage for that. Well, this is so hard for me to speak to, Chris, because I haven't played Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, and I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that was an argument, to be honest. Like, look, do I think people get a little bit crazy? Again, here's what I think. I think that there are rational adults that can point out some things in some games and say, that's a little weird. That's a little forced. That's a little on the nose. Seems a little unnecessary. And I think what happens is then that message trickles down to another group of people that will get crazy about it. And then they will take a magnifying glass to that game and try to find anything they can to tear it down. Because again, they believe they're doing so in the name of we need to kill the woke. We need to kill all the woke. And it's like, guys, even the term woke is becoming overused and it's becoming too broad where it's like, listen, when you create these single stroke broad terms, like these umbrellas that are so wide reaching, you're going to get some people inside, so to speak, that are going to start using that term and start aligning themselves that you're probably going to think to yourself, I don't know that I actually agree with you. In fact, I think we might be very different and we might have I think there's more things we disagree on than agree on, and it's a tough thing because this happens all the time. I just feel like people know the difference between right and wrong, man. I do. Like, I know that there's some people, some random people out there that maybe don't. And I know that some people just don't give a shit about the difference between right and wrong. But I feel like I know the difference between right and wrong. I'm not perfect. I'm not a saint. I don't claim to be. Are there times where I maybe hurt people indirectly? Sure, I'm sure I do. Whether it's with my words or, ripple effect actions I take. Yeah, of course. But I just think that people, again, man, like I think we're just conditioned, whether it might be biologically driven, to just think we always have to fight. We always have to fight. And don't get me wrong, there are times where you have to fight. No one wants to be a coward. I think a coward is the worst thing you can be. A person who's not willing to fight for something they believe in, for something they believe is right. I don't think that's the answer either. I don't think complete pacifism is the answer. Maybe like I've tried to understand that, like the idea of like just don't ever fight anything. Just love everything. It's like, listen, I mean, you could love evil, but is that going to just make it good? Is that going to make it go away? Is that going to make it stop? No. So there always has to be a reason to fight. And I think where shit gets so messy these days is people don't know exactly what they're fighting for or why they're in the age of the internet. It's like everybody is fighting something. And yeah, I mean, you could saying evil is subjective. I don't know. I don't know that evil really is that subjective. I don't. Like, evil to me is an intense word. Evil to me is something that is intense. Something bad or harmful. Again, this is where I think you have to be a little bit more nuanced and there's more subtlety to it, where it's like, again, do we all do things that would be considered bad and harmful, whether it be to ourselves or to others? Yes. The answer is yes. We all have, and we all do, and we all will, because nobody's perfect. But I think the difference is just in recognizing, like, oh, this thing I did really hurt somebody. I mean, like, really hurt them. So, and then from that point, it's like, so does that mean you're an evil person? No. To me, evil is defined as the awareness of the damage you're doing and not caring. To me, that's evil. Doing wrong is not always evil, because a lot of people don't know that they're doing wrong. A lot of people don't know any better. A lot of people need to learn what it means to do right. And the only way you can learn what it means to do right is to do a little wrong first, and it's just human nature. But I really do just think that evil and something that would be considered truly rotten, and there are people like this, which is what's scary, is like they know that they're causing damage. They know exactly how badly they're hurting people, and they just don't care. You could almost define evil as being a psychopathy, dude. Like being a psychopath, not having any form of empathy or sympathy. And so a lot of people are sociopaths. See, that's even worse. Sociopaths are the same as psychopaths, but they know how to function. They know how to manipulate. They know how to not reveal themselves. They know how to wear the mask. And I do think that there are a lot of evil people out there that they do know what they're doing and they just don't care. And I think that a lot of and what makes me sad ultimately is when we have these conversations is it's so clear that there's so many people that are very hurt. They're hurt and they're damaged, and they don't their natural, again, biological instinct is to identify what has caused that hurt, what has caused that damage, and then fight it. Snuff it out, stomp it out, do whatever you got to do. And I think that, again, this is why people go to the other extreme where they're like, well, no, we have to treat it. We have to kill everything with kindness and love. And I get that too. But I think truthfully, it's about finding an appropriate middle ground where, and I don't know, I'm just speaking for myself as a 30-year-old man. Like, I think that we all have to find certain things that we believe truly are worth fighting for, but we have to think. You have to really think before you go make a fist, right? And decide, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to fucking fight for something. You really got to think deeply. What exactly are you fighting for? I mean, really, what are you fighting for? What is the end game here? Because if you're going to go fight, you have to accept you're going to do some type of damage to somebody or something. And you just have to ask yourself, is it worth it? What's it all for? What will it be for? What is it in the name of? And again, you know, I mean, this could extend all the way to religions and why there's war, and it's a super complicated thing. And as much as I would like to have some kind of ultimate conclusion here, where it's like, and this is all everybody has to do, you know, there's like that whole idea of how tolerant should people be? How tolerant should we be? Should we be, you know, somebody might say we need to be ultra tolerant. We need to tolerate everyone and everything. Well, if you want to tolerate everyone and everything, that means you also have to tolerate the hate, the evil. That means you have to be able to look at something or someone that is evil and say, I tolerate you just as the same exact way that I tolerate a very nice individual who's a very kind, loving person. You know what I mean? So it's like you can't really just walk around life and say everything is equal, because it's just not. You know, it's basically turned into a philosophy segment of the fucking stream, but the point is Xbox sucks, bro. Okay? Just kidding. There has to be a limit to tolerance, because in my opinion, the limit to tolerance is in the name of goodness. It is. And I know that, like, you know, some people could say, well, who, you know, is it subjective? Like, who's to say what's good and what's not? It's like, well, listen, man, we're human beings. Like, we're pretty advanced at this point. I think we're intelligent enough to be able to determine, like, if we do these things, they make us happier, they make us healthier, they make us feel better, versus if we do these things, they don't. They do the opposite. You know what I mean? It's like, is it really that hard? It's not, but there's always going to be somebody there to complicate things. And that's when it gets hard. And that's why I'm saying, ultimately, because Kareem Ali really got me going here, I don't hate Sweet Baby Inc. I don't hate the people there. I don't hate people who align with them and their beliefs. I don't. Like, if I had hate in my heart for that, that would be, to me, I lost. If I actually had genuine hatred, I've lost, because that's no way to live. But I do have my opinions, and I do have my feelings, and I do look at certain things, and I do feel like this feels kind of wrong to me. And I don't agree with it. And I can't see what it is that you see at all. So my answer to that is, again, I don't want Sweet Baby Inc. eradicated. I don't want to see them wiped off the fucking face of the planet and everybody who aligns with them. Instead, I feel like, you know what? Maybe you guys should just go make your own games, and those games should be made for the people who really agree with you and really feel the way you feel, and you guys can just go do that. But that'll never be enough. That'll never be enough, and that right there is at the heart of the problem. Is there's always going to be this feeling of like, well, the thing that I feel should be what most people feel. And that's why we are where we are. All right. What the hell were we talking about? I feel like I got totally I think I put Boss to sleep with my rant. He's like, no, I wasn't sleeping, bro. You got more snacks for me? Any leaks on the showcase? No. Nope. Nothing. There's nothing, dude. I hate to say it, but um, I'm also at a point where like I don't even know if there were any leaks, like if they're worth even pursuing at this point, because again, there's been so much nonsense. There's been so much stuff just being made up and people just saying stuff for attention or to get people talking. It's really weird. I don't really know what's happening in the industry right now. Again, like seeing it from a more optimistic viewpoint, if I'm trying to be optimistic, but I feel oh hold on. Ooh, things just got spicy, bro. Things just got spicy. So somebody earlier today said something about a rumor of Helldivers 2 coming to Xbox, and I asked them where their for their source, and they said that they just saw it on Twitter. Check this out. See that now this will change quite a bit. Sony is in preliminary talks to bring Helldivers 2 to Xbox, according to Xbox Era. Let's see. I'm gonna see if the audio. All right. Let's see if I can get this playing. Oh, I thought that they timestamped it. Okay, well, I don't have the timestamp. No, don't shoot that. I don't have the timestamp for it. But is Xbox Era legit? They're like, I think they get more things right than they get wrong, I believe. But they've been wrong a few times, but they've been right about a lot of stuff too. Just don't let it on Game Pass. Yeah, I don't think they would ever do that. Boss, get down. Get down, dude. Get down. Get down. Come on. You can't be up here right now, bro. Come on. Come on. Don't fight me. That's your spot. Money talks. Well, okay, let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this. See, here's what I think. Let's talk about this. I'm actually super grateful that this popped up because it's true, and Cillian Murphy is going to star in a crossover event. I'm going to entertain this rumor for now, just to be fair about it. Okay, I'm going to be fair about it because I entertained all the rumors about every Xbox game coming to PlayStation, so I'll entertain this one as well. If Sony negotiated bringing Helldivers 2 to Xbox, that to me would be quite surprising. It really would be. Because that is essentially like Sony potentially throwing a lifeline to Xbox, which is weird because it's like it seemed to me, for as long as I followed Sony PlayStation, that one of their biggest goals was to defeat Xbox, man. Like, to just basically be like, we don't want Xbox to sell well. At least not anywhere. Hold on. Boss, I'm going to have to escort you out of the room. You can't keep messing my conversations up. Give me just a second, guys. Give me just a second. I'll bring him. Listen, if we hit 50 members today, I'll bring Boss back in, okay? But he's getting a little bit crazy. He was sleeping real nice. You clown. MBG wasn't wearing pants confirmed. Yeah, I don't know. Am I wearing pants? Maybe, maybe not. I'll bring him back in, though. Listen, if we hit 50 members, we're at 36 or 35. So we're 15 away. We hit 50, I'll bring him back in. We hit 50, I'll do some reps at the end of the stream, too. Come on, guys. I want to use those dumbbells in the background there. But the idea of Sony bringing Helldivers 2 to Xbox, what would confuse me about this is I was always under the understanding that, or the impression I should say, that Sony really wanted to basically kill Xbox. You know, that they really wanted to snuff them out. I've been using that term a lot, but just totally leave them in the dirt. And my reason for this is because of market share. You know, it's like the smaller Xbox is, the worse it sells, the more market share PlayStation has, and the more customer, like, because again, we have to understand that Sony and Microsoft are essentially fighting for the same customers in the console space. And that's why I'm saying, like, if we see Microsoft has already conceded. And they said, look, we lost, essentially. You know, like we can't really undo what was done damage-wise by PlayStation in this digital age. In this digital age, PlayStation has, beat us out 2-1, in some cases 3-1, and it's not getting better, and it's not changing. And so because of that, it seems like we've talked extensively about how it seems like Microsoft just really doesn't care that much at all about the console space, and it's something extra, auxiliary, to whereas I've talked extensively to you guys about how it seems like Sony really still cares a lot about the console space. And so if this were to happen, I'm just not... I think if this were to happen, it would create a conversation that right now doesn't... I mean, it does exist, but it feels like we have a pretty clear answer to that conversation, or that question, I mean. It asks a question, and right now the answer is no. The question it's asking is, will PlayStation bring their games to Xbox? The answer right now is no. Because again, there's no sign. I know people point to like MLB, but come on, like we've talked extensively about how MLB is different. MLB is not Sony's decision. Like the MLB said, you either put it on Xbox or we strip the license from you. It's that simple. So obviously Sony was strong-armed. Bungie, Marathon, same thing. It's very clear that the only way Bungie was going to ever agree to be purchased by Sony is if Sony said, yes, you can put your games on everything. Outside of that, it seemed pretty clear, and it still seems pretty clear, that you're not going to see anything else make its way to Xbox, because that's just not how Sony operates. However, if Helldivers 2 were to go to Xbox, that would change everything. It would. It would. Because, I mean, at that point, the question of, all right, well, Helldivers 2 went to Xbox, so what is Concord going to go to Xbox? Is Horizon Zero Dawn or Forbidden West going to go to Xbox? Is God of War going to go to Xbox? Like, it just opens the door to that conversation to where, I'll be honest, listen, I'm going to be totally 100% with you guys. Just 100%. If Sony puts Helldivers 2 on PlayStation, I am taking the stance that you're going to see everything on Xbox then eventually. I will take that, because I'm not going to even attempt to assume that at this point I know what Sony's plan is, because I don't. Foam Stars coming to Xbox? God, it probably should. Miguel, you're saying just two things, MBG. George Carlin was anti-establishment, not lefty. And if Sony puts Helldivers 2 on Xbox, it's because of money. They want those sweet 70% and in-game purchases. Well, you see, that's the whole thing here. It's why to me, if Sony were to put Helldivers 2 onto Xbox, it would basically create the same conversation we have around PC right now, which is, well, okay, Sony puts a lot of games on PC, but are they putting the latest games on PC? Like single player games, that is. Like Wolverine and the next Naughty Dog game and the next Santa Monica Studio game and the next God of War. They're going to drop day one on PC. And right now, the answer is no, but I do not feel confident in saying that couldn't happen. You know what I mean? And this is why I've encouraged people so much these days to just, you can't assume to know. You can have your opinion and you can have your logic that backs up that opinion, but you can't assume to know. And that's where I draw the line, where it's like, listen, man, I said literally earlier in this stream that right now, there is no sign that Helldivers 2 will go to Xbox. There is no sign. There is a single sign saying that it might come to Xbox, and that is from the rumor from Xbox Error, which, again, choose to believe them, choose not to, but now there is one sign that it might come to Xbox. And literally, it changed just like that in the middle of my stream. And so I'm more inclined to believe it just because I feel like Xbox Error has been, I feel like they're like 75-25. I feel like 75% of what they say is true, and then 25% of what they say is not true. But to me, the idea, they're not saying something crazy. Like if they came out and said like, yeah, God of War is coming to Xbox, I'd be like, I don't believe that. I wouldn't believe that. But Helldivers 2, I mean, it's one of these things where it's like it is a very, very, very successful live service game for Sony, the most successful they've ever had. I could see them saying, yeah, let's do this. We're doing it with Bungie. We did it with MLB. Let's do it with this now too. But then like, okay, then why not just bring Gran Turismo over as well? You see what I'm saying? Like, where's the line? And should there be a line? The only reason I think there should be a line is because, dude, there's always been a line. I didn't draw the line. These companies drew the line. Now they're just saying no more lines? Or they're just going to say lines where we want them, when we want them there? Because that's just like, well, what's the point of that? It's interesting. Hanzo, member for 10 months, says, one love, everyone. Using 3 Arnie characters from his films and replacing them with characters in 3 games. What are those swaps? Random question, I know. All right. That's a great question. All right. I want to see. Oh my God. See, it's so hard to. I want to see Arnold's character of God. What was the name of his character in Jingle All the Way? Fuck. I forget the name of his character in Jingle All the Way, but I want to see that version of Arnold in I mean, he could be in his Turbo Man. So I want to see him in Turbo Man. I know that wasn't his name, but Howard. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Howard Lang. I want to see Howard Lang, Arnold, Turbo Man in place of Spider-Man, bro. Okay? So that's number 1. I want to see Terminator 2 Arnold in No. I got another one. This one's better. I want to see the automatons completely replaced in Helldivers 2 with the T-800, but the Terminator 1 version where, he's bad and extremely scary. I want to see every automaton replaced with T-800 Arnold. And then the third one, fuck, man. You really put me on the spot on this one. Conan. Yeah, dude, I want to see Conan Arnold as the only playable character in Bloodborne or God of War. There we go. Yeah, even better. That's even better. I don't know why I said Bloodborne. I said Bloodborne because I just think that'd be ridiculous. No, God of War would be good. And there we go. I'll have to make a whole list of this, bro. I'll have to make a whole list of this. All right. Thank you for that, Hanzo. Really appreciate that. Predator, Arnold, and Horizon. Which Conan, Destroyer or Barbarian? I don't know. I have to think about that one. Arnold is Ratchet. Oh my God, dude. Arnold is Ratchet and Danny DeVito is Clank. Oh my God. We did it. We did it. That is perfection. That's perfection. Thank you for that, Hanzo. All right. Let's get back on track here. Dude, now, Hanzo, you totally just fucked my mind up, bro. I can't get these images out of my head now. Thanks a lot. Like, yeah, I feel sad because, like, I know we'll never see this, but I want to see this, dude. Like, I actually want to see this happen. I'm sorry. Get to the rift. Get to the rift. That's a good one, bro. That's a good one. All right. Back on track here. Someone's going to mod it on PC? Absolutely, bro. All right. Back on track. Hanzo, you really did a number on me with that one, man. Thanks a lot. All right, listen. Yeah, we're totally off the rails. Back to Helldivers 2. Capono, you're saying, MBG, just to be clear, do you want there to be lines in the gaming industry? Well, I mean, it depends on what those lines really, like, why they're there, right? Something that I don't like, and I understand that this is just the nature of the beast, right? Like, these are corporations, these are companies. I don't mind there being lines. What I do mind is the companies that are drawing these lines just deciding, we're going to erase this line now, and we're going to move it over here. It's like the companies themselves are moving the goalposts, and it's like, that I don't appreciate because it's like, this is what I can respect about Nintendo, where they drew a single line and they're like, this is it. It's never going to change. And that's that. I feel like it's a clear communication so you can know how to feel about this company and what to expect. And I feel like with the way things are now and how rapidly they're changing, it feels like these companies are literally drawing new lines every 3 months or so, And it's tiresome as a fan because it's like you just want to know what to expect. You want to have some idea of like, what should I invest in? What should I believe what this company is even telling me at this point? And that's what gets frustrating about it because it's like, listen, my whole understanding of PlayStation, and it's weird because when I came back to PlayStation after, years of not playing on it for really much at all, and like really kind of reinvesting into it, I did so with the understanding, like Sony drew that hard line, man, where they were like, we have exclusive games for our console, and you're not going to get these games anywhere. Games like God of War, games like Spider-Man, games like Horizon Zero Dawn, games like The Last of Us. And that was a huge driving factor for me to go back to PlayStation, because it's like, well, that's why I bought a PS4 Pro, right? Literally for those games. If I had access to those games on my Xbox, I would have just played them on my Xbox at the time. But it was interesting because, like, not too long after me reinvesting in PlayStation, this is when all the changes suddenly started to happen. And it was interesting because, like, everybody was like, whoa, okay, I guess Sony's just doing things differently now. And then flash forward a couple more years, now we're seeing Microsoft totally flipping everything upside down. And so to be reading a rumor now that, like, Helldivers 2 might go to Xbox, it's like, look, if exclusive, let's be clear, with the lines we're talking about, we're basically talking about exclusivity. If exclusivity fully dies, I mean fully, like, to a lot of people, exclusivity is already dead, but I'm talking like it's just a non-existent thing anymore. The only real question I have at that point is then what does that do to the console market? Because we're seeing that in real time with Microsoft, and the conclusion that I and many other people have come to is that, well, Xbox is done, dude, as a console. Like, is it literally done, as in there won't be another Xbox that people can buy? No, but it's over, you know, like it's not at the center of their plans. It's not the literal Xbox console is not at the center of the Xbox brand anymore, and it will never be. And in fact, it's even being treated as like a kind of third alternative in some instances. And to me, that's very sad, because I've had my time with Xbox where, like, I remember supporting Xbox, and especially in the 360 days, and it's like, this is, you know, they're really fucking pushing to make this thing a success. And there's this kind of idea of making people feel like you're getting a little extra something. Like, hey, we're asking a lot from you. We're asking you to invest. We're asking you to basically sink money into this, right? And in return, you are made to feel like you're getting a little something extra, a little something unique to just that thing that others. And yes, I know it sounds ridiculous, but again, it's human nature. Some of the enjoyment and some of the good feelings that come with it come with the idea of gatekeeping. People talk all the time about how we shouldn't gatekeep, and it's like, but really think about that. I mean, really just think about that. If nothing was gatekept at all, what happens? What happens? Then that means anything and everything can become completely mainstream. And when anything and everything becomes completely mainstream and is available to everybody, I mean everybody, and everybody wants it, what happens to it? I mean, what really, I'm asking in all seriousness, like, what happens to it when the goal is total and utter saturation, no holds bar? What happens to it? It gets dumbed down. It gets watered down. It becomes trash, dude. Like, most of the time. It does. It does. And that's been proven time and time again. And I'm not saying that's what will happen. Exactly. I'm not saying that. I like trash sometimes. Absolutely. I'm not even judging people who like trash, because I like trash too sometimes. We all like a little bit of trash here and there. We take your pick. But it's just, it's like why would people, I think one of the things that made Elden Ring so special, and Elden Ring is one of the first things that comes to mind, is because, dude, that game is the opposite of accessible. And yet it, like, defied the odds. It's like this game became mainstream without changing itself. And, like, that doesn't really happen that often at all. And it's kind of like an anomaly where I promise you, even Miyazaki and the creators of that game were looking at each other like, what? You know, like, we would have never known that this many people would be interested in this. Or were there a lot of people who picked up Elden Ring due to the hype and probably were like, what the fuck do I even do? Yeah, probably. And then they put it down and never played again. Yeah, that probably did happen. But I just think that, like, there's this intense desire from both Sony and Microsoft to be everywhere, not to be everywhere, but to to expose their IP to larger audiences in the hopes that they can grow those audiences. And I mean, it's hard to argue against this because it's like, well, I mean, I understand that that's like, I get it, you know, like everybody wants to continue to grow and to find more success based off of sheer volume of the amount of people that are buying stuff. But I'm wary of this, man, because I just feel like certain things are going to lose their charm. Certain things are going to lose their edge. And I don't know. I guess I just feel like to an extent, gatekeeping does have a place. I don't think it has to be extreme gatekeeping, you know, but it's just like, I think in a way, people are willing to gatekeep certain things. It is out of fear. And it's out of fear that if we just let anyone in, it's going to devalue a lot of this. It's going to alter a lot of this. And again, that has happened time and time again. Does it always have to be a bad thing? Not necessarily. No, but I think it's just a risky thing where, let me put it to you this way. When things become, when there's no more gatekeeping, things change. And I'm not here to necessarily say that changes definitively for the better or for the worse, but things definitely change. And all I can say definitively is that we have seen examples of things change for the worse. You know? But you could say that there are maybe some examples of things changing for the better. And I guess it's kind of just trying to understand, like, trying to map out, like, for example, if Sony didn't gatekeep at all, if Sony just said tomorrow, like, no more exclusives ever again for anything, you have to imagine, like, well, that's going to change something, right? I mean, I don't know exactly what. Something will change. But I don't know, man. Things are... What I do know is that things are changing at a rapid pace. It's hard to keep up with. Truthfully, it is. It's becoming hard to keep up with because it really feels like in the past 12 to 16 months, in some ways, things have just flipped completely upside down. And again, I don't know for sure if these are good or bad things, because, or if this is a good thing in the end or a bad thing in the end, because not enough time has went by to really be able to determine that. But you're saying it's kind of overwhelming. I mean, it is, because it is overwhelming to people who follow this stuff closely and have been doing so for years, because, again, man, we're talking about things that we thought weren't possible even just a year ago or even 4 years ago. Like, just totally out of the question. Like, that would never happen, ever, like, under any circumstance. But then again, it's like, maybe that was our fault this whole time, you know? Truthfully, maybe it was our fault for being naive and thinking that we understand what a company will or will not do for us. You know, the fan, the loyal fan, or whatever. Maybe it's just the kind of rude awakening of like, dude, these are massive corporations that they'll appeal to you when they want your money, and they'll say what you want to hear. But at the end of the day, like, they're in it for their bottom line. They're in it for the shareholders, and you're part of that. But if there's the potential for more money to be made in another direction, they're going to pursue that direction. And that's a bit heartless. It's a bit cold, but that is the business world. The business world is heartless and cold. It's all about the numbers and the bottom line. And Yeah, I agree, Devil Shooter. That's a good way of putting it. We had a better understanding of what the old companies would do. Like we felt like we knew. Like, oh, I know what the next move is because this is how it goes, right? Like it felt like there was like a kind of almost like a set of rules in a way, you know, where it's like this is kind of, you know, if a company is struggling to sell a console, then they double down on exclusives. They make more exclusives. They focus on the quality. They try to appeal to the most loyal fans and let it grow outward from there. And that felt like kind of the way it went. And like you could kind of expect that to happen if a company was like struggling to sell a console. And this is why I said earlier in the stream, like maybe the digital age really has transformed everything, because you could argue that the whole reason why we're looking at what we're looking at now is all because it's all digitally related. You know, I'll never forget when Phil Spencer said in that interview last year, he said like once Sony like basically won people over on the PS4 generation, that was the first digital generation. Once people started to invest digitally into that ecosystem and that storefront, it was over. You know, there was no coming back from that. And then you take that even a step further, where now we look at, you know, I'm reminded of what Jim Ryan said. When Jim Ryan said, like, we don't really care about subscription services, or we don't see that as the primary goal, because we view successful live service games as subscriptions in it of themselves. And that's exactly what they are. The end goal of a subscription service is no different than the end goal of a live service game, because they're both services, and that is keep people giving you money on a monthly basis, coming back and giving you that monthly recurring payment. And you might be asking yourself, well, why do companies chase this so aggressively? It's because it's easy money. It's guaranteed money. If you can hit a certain threshold of subscribers or players for your game, you know, there's like almost a set guarantee, like a minimum guarantee of like we can make at least this much money. And that acts as basically a security net. And you know, yeah, the truth is like Sony is no different than Microsoft in this way. And this could be one of the very first things we see Sony do in the age of Totokism. You know, I've talked, I had a stream, I think like 2.5, 3 weeks ago at this point, where one of the main topics of discussion was talking about Hiroki Totoki taking over as interim CEO and talking about some of the changes we might see and how there is a chance we could see some dramatic changes with him. He might just be the interim CEO, but he is still the CEO. He can change things. And one of the first things he might do is say, we need to get Helldivers on the Xbox right now. Right away. And again, you have to like, we didn't even feel like we knew what to expect with Jim Ryan as the CEO of PlayStation. Now we have somebody who's never even been involved with the PlayStation business as the CEO. We have literally no idea what to expect now. Not even a fucking clue. So the whole idea of, is it good, is it bad? I am a little worried. I won't lie to you. I'm naturally pessimistic in this way, where the idea of both Sony and Microsoft just breaking down barriers, hugging each other, shaking hands, and saying, you know what? Why can't we all just get along? It sounds good on paper, but I worry that, like, well, you know, what does this ultimately do for competition? Like, here's the question I have. Are we going to find out that it was all a bunch of bullshit? Are we going to find out that it turns out Sony never really cared about making their games as good as they did? It was never in the name of, we need to outshine Xbox and do better than Xbox. It was just how it went. It was just a natural occurrence that just happened. I find that hard to believe. I do. I find that hard to believe because when I track the trajectory of PlayStation, it was Sony was on top of the fucking world with the PS2 and thought that they were untouchable, and they immediately got knocked down off the mountain with the PS3, and they scrambled because their back was against the wall, and it was either sink or swim, and they realized that the only way they're going to swim is they have to give the fans what they want. A great console at an affordable price point with great exclusives and a lot of fanfare. And the fans were the number one priority. And Sony really leaned into that. And they continued to lean into that into the PS4 generation because Sony, at the start of the PS4, they were still struggling a bit. And they knew that there was a lot riding on it. And success was not guaranteed. So they leaned into that even harder. Fans, fanfare, solid exclusive games, and a great machine that plays games. And it feels like everything changed with the PS5 to where they just basically... See, I do fear that Sony may have gotten a little bit complacent, but in a different way. With the PS2, Sony got complacent in the sense that they thought we could dominate. Like, I think Sony was complacent from the PS2 to the PS3 era in the sense that they thought no one can touch us. We don't have competition. And they found out really quickly, like, no, you do. And you got blindsided. I think this time around, Sony, you could say maybe they had the same outlook with Xbox, but I don't think it was that they look at Xbox as like they're not competition anymore. I mean, maybe they do, but I think this time Sony may have gotten complacent with their own fan base in a way where like I feel like Sony's been kind of operating in a way where they're like, we're not going to lose our core fans. We'll never lose our core fans. Like they're going to be here no matter what. And maybe that's true to an extent, but like you start to feel like, okay, well, if you're making all these changes abruptly, there's not a whole lot of fanfare going on. It's like, I mean, think about it. Like, think about what we're hoping for right now. What are we hoping for right now? What's the number one thing that we're hoping for? We're hoping that Sony puts on a show in the next 30 days or so, and it appeals to the fans. Like, this is a show for the fans. We're here to get you fucking hype and excited about our upcoming games and hardware. That's what we expect. And we're expecting because it feels like it's been forever since Sony's done that. And my question is like, hold on now. Like, the question, in my opinion, becomes like, well, number one, is that going to happen? And number two, if it doesn't, what is going to happen? Like, are we going to have another bad showcase and then on top of that, Sony's like, oh, by the way, we're putting Helldivers on Xbox? Because it's like, whoa, did you guys just like give up on the fucking PS5? Again, these are just speculative questions. I don't think so, but it's just, you just gotta wonder. Like, you really gotta wonder, like, what is gonna change next? That's the real question. More change is coming, guaranteed. You're right. It is speculate. It is all speculation. But one thing I can say is more change is coming, guaranteed. For sure. And any PlayStation fan, I don't care how diehard of a PlayStation fan you are, buckle up or get out. I mean, either way, like, you just understand more change is coming. For sure. I don't know exactly in what form. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know how it's going to be presented. I don't know how it's going to be announced. I don't know how it's going to be talked about, but it's going to happen. And I'm not here to tell anybody what they should or shouldn't do. I will say this. I will draw this line. Sony, you want to put a game on Xbox, you want to put multiple games on Xbox, fine. There ain't nothing I can do to stop you, but so help me God, Sony. So help me God if I find out that the Series X version of Helldivers 2 runs better, even if I don't care how minute that advantage is, bro. Don't let me see that shit. Don't fucking let me see that shit. Because then to me, that's where it's like, all right, now you're getting fucking crazy. I got to have some lines, right? There has to be some line. That's my line. No, Sony will be like, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. We have a PS5 Pro. Oh my God. That's how they're going to thread that needle, bro. The best version of Helldivers 2 is not on PS5. Not even on Series X. It's going to be on the PS5 Pro. Genius. Genius. Well, we'll see what happens, man. I'm tired though, dude. Like I am. And I think a lot of you guys are too. Like, and what I mean by that is I'm at a point where I'm kind of in agreement with Mark here, going back to his super chat, where Mark said, like, I'm kind of tired of the whining about games coming to other platforms. Like, listen, again, I said this earlier and I mean it. Sony, if you're going to bring Helldivers 2 to Xbox, please, I beg you, I fucking beg you, Sony, don't be a fucking little bitch, Hiroki Totoki, all right? I don't want to find out that the age of Totokism is like the age of Phil Spencer, where it's acting like a little bitch all the time. No offense, Phil Spencer. I'm talking mainly to Xbox's marketing team. If Sony's going to bring Helldivers 2 to Xbox, then fucking tell us. We're bringing games to Xbox. Boom. Nothing you can do about it. Buy a PS5. I don't give a fuck, but we're bringing games to Xbox. I don't want to see I want the fucking truth. And I want that because I feel like that's the least you could do for your fans, bro, is just tell them. Because we'll accept it. I'm telling you, people, if you're honest and upfront and just, will there be a couple maniacs out there trying to flush your PS5s down the toilet or lighting them on fire? Yes. But ignore those. That's like 5 people, okay? Everybody will be able to just say, you know what? This is fucking crazy. But okay. Appreciate you being honest with me. You know what I mean? Like that's how I would feel. I'd be like, damn, Sony, you're fucking nuts. You're crazier than Xbox. But I appreciate you being honest. That's all I want, man. I just want honesty and transparency. And I feel like, I mean, I get that maybe they can't, like, I guess what makes it tough is people were saying, like, well, Microsoft wasn't just blatantly saying everything because they're testing the waters. And it's like, I mean, maybe, but like, come on. Sea of Thieves is going to kill on PlayStation. It's going to do great. Like, hopefully after that, Microsoft can just be totally transparent. Be like, yeah, dude, we're it's the whole slate. You know, it's like, oh, okay. All right. And if Sony's going to do the same thing with Helldivers 2, like, just be clear about it. We're not, like, here's what Sony could do. If Helldivers 2 does come to Xbox, we're bringing our live service games to Xbox. We are not bringing our single-player games to Xbox. Boom. Simple as that. Oh, okay. Thank you for that clarification. These companies, I know maybe it's bad business because these companies are going to, like, lock themselves in and shit, but it's like, come on, man. Just be real. Just be honest. I know I'm asking too much. They're not coming to Xbox. Well, we'll see. I mean, look, man, the idea of Sony's live service games going to Xbox was never crazy to me. Like I said a little bit earlier, I told you, like, years ago when Sony announced they're doing live service, I said, yeah, they're going to be day and date on PC. They'll probably be on Xbox too. I remember saying that multiple times. So it's not a shocker to me. The only thing that would be shocking to me is if Sony, like, still tried to be, like, quiet and, like, you know what I mean? Like, at that point, like, listen, I will at least give Microsoft this credit. I didn't really like the way they handled it. I really didn't. I feel like it was a little bit too PR nonsense. But I will at least give Microsoft credit that, dude, like, they knew it was a big deal and they treated it as such. Like, they had a whole business event update. And again, I feel like a lot of this shit that they said, it's like, all right, it feels like you're bullshitting me. But at least they set something up to acknowledge it. I feel like Sony is liable to just announce, like, next week in a blog post, we're bringing Helldivers 2 to Xbox, and then not say jack shit after. Like, just not say anything. You know? Mr. Totoki, can you answer some questions? No. Oh, okay, thank you. But again, I'm not saying I want some kind of spin on it. I don't want to spin. I just want them to talk, man. Like that's all. That's all I really want more than anything. But the truth is, at the heart of all this, when I said a moment ago, like I'm getting tired. Part of the reason I'm getting tired of these conversations is because I feel like there's this kind of insane dichotomy right now where there's so much uncertainty and change happening in such a short period of time. And now there's, even rumors about Helldivers going to Xbox and stuff. And it's continuing to happen, but it's all happening at a time when there's like nothing exciting. Like I'm not saying nothing, but like minimal excitement. Or there's like, do you guys get that? Do you get that sense? You get that feeling where it just feels like the gaming industry has been like trudging through the fucking mud for like 6 months plus now. And it's just been nonsense after nonsense after nonsense. And in the middle of all that, there's all this change and all this shit, going on with minimal explanation or bullshit explanations. And there's like, you know what I mean? I'm hoping. Here's how I view it. Let me properly communicate what I'm trying to say. I'm at a point with Sony, dude. No joke. I'm at a point with Sony PlayStation where I'm like, dude, you can like practically do whatever the fuck you want. Just please have a good showcase with some awesome fucking games that I can be excited about. Like I'm at that point, dude, where it's like, okay, you're going to do $1 billion business is going to do $1 billion business things. I can accept that. I need to see this shit, dude. I do. Like, I need to see the shit. The good shit. I'm at that point. You should not expect companies to communicate with you in that way. Just give me a good showcase, Sony, please. That's all I want. Hey, I'm glad I have Stellar Blade to play, man. I'm thankful for that. Thank you for that, Sony. But please give me that fucking showcase, bro. I can see the console wars dying in the coming year or two. For real. I could see the console wars officially ending very soon. And that's not a bad thing. But it really comes down to, again, like, I don't care if Sony and Microsoft are going to shake hands and be like, listen, we're doing this. But you got to explain to the fan base and the console people, like, what this means. Because I feel like Microsoft really, like, killed their fan base, dude. And they tried really hard to, like, be like, no, it's you're not, we didn't kill you. Guys, it's fine. We're going to make another console. We are. It's going to be the biggest technical leap ever. And I feel like, dude, it's too late. Like, you guys just murdered, like, the rumors. You guys took too long. Like, I think those leaks were coordinated, bro. I think it was done purposely, but they murdered their fan base, like, overnight. And that was like, I'm telling you, I've been following this shit for a long time. I've never seen anything like that. And it was sad. I'm like, I was telling you guys, like, I feel bad for, like, the most hardcore loyal Xbox fans. Like, they just got fucking suplexed by the company that they chose to support, man. Like, holy shit. And I just don't want Sony to do it that way. I want, like, if Sony's going to go in that direction, if they are, I just want them to handle it a little bit more gracefully, where they're not going to suplex their own fan base. I am wearing pants. Boss was meowing at the door. I felt bad. Return of the King. Boss has returned. That Sweet Baby Inc. showcase is going to be fire. Oh, man. No, dude. Eternal, you're saying, I don't care whether someone is playing a PlayStation game on something else that they prefer. We're all gamers anyway. Play on what makes you happy. Yeah, I hear that. I just really wonder what's going to happen because I don't think anybody can deny this. Like, if the competition in the console space basically dies out because both Sony and Microsoft basically decided that our priority is no longer to sell consoles. Like, I think Sony, I still think Sony, for Sony, it's a priority. But I think it is starting to shift a little bit. And I think it's completely shifted for Microsoft. I don't think there's any denying that, dude, the way these games get made and our expectations of them, I think are going to have to change. I'm not saying, again, it'll be for the worse, but I just think that change is going to happen. Some change is going to happen. Boss, there ain't no way, dude. There ain't no way. I can't believe he's walking on this desk right now, man. Like, it's no. Guys, come on. We got it. We got to get more memberships going here because Boss is not happy. I fed the beast, bro. I gave him so many snacks and he's still acting like this. Come on. Come on. They're right here. See? Temptations. They're tempting you. Do you think that, Miguel, you're saying you think that Sony should treat Xbox how they treat PC? Just bring their games like a year or two later? Well, see, my whole thing is single player games, dude. Single player games. I feel like Sony is more likely, while not a guarantee, nothing's guaranteed, but I feel like Sony is more likely to be stricter with their single player games, you know, to where like I could see them being like, yeah, we'll eventually start bringing our live service games to Xbox, but single player games, no. I mean, they bring single player games to PC, but again, like they still haven't done day and date, and I've speculated that if Sony were to do day and date with single player games on PC, it would be with their own launcher to get 100% of the cut. All right, bro, you got to get down. You got to get down. You need to get down. Oh my God, I love Boss, but he does not fucking listen, dude. Holy shit, he does not listen. Saying, "LOL, Boss is fighting back." He is. Like he is. Like that's what starts to annoy me is he doesn't listen to me when I tell him to get down. So I try to like, give him a nudge and he resists. His claws come out. He's like digging into the desk. Look, he scratched it. I'm going to snap on you, Boss. Don't look at, he's challenging me, bro. We're about to throw down right here. I'm the alpha. You're not the alpha. I'm the alpha. I'm going to have to start asserting my dominance, Boss. Yeah, that's right. See, there you go. Would an alpha really chase a laser like this, huh? Yeah, I don't think so. All right. Good question. Human wins. Hey. That doesn't mean destroy the carpet. Bro is fooled by a laser. Well, Devil Sure, you're saying MBG, you said it. You said if Helldivers 2 goes on Xbox, everything is on the table not long ago. No. To be clear, that would be that's how I would approach it. If Sony announced tomorrow Helldivers 2 is launching on Xbox, from that moment forward, I don't know PlayStation. The way I mean, what I mean by that is like anything I thought I knew about PlayStation, I don't know anymore. I don't. And I'm not going to attempt to think I know. But I will still be forced to, well, I guess I wouldn't be forced, but I would still speculate and give my best guess on things. But just doing so with the understanding that, like, yo, man, you could be way off the mark here. And my best guess, if Helldivers 2 were to come to Xbox, my take on that would simply be, all right, I would assume this means going forward that Xbox players can expect to get all live service games, but I'm not fully convinced that Sony's going to bring single player games to Xbox. However, I will definitely add the caveat that, but they also very well could. Like, just because I say I don't think they would put God of War on Xbox doesn't mean they're not going to put God of War on Xbox. They very well could at some point do that. Nope. No. I wonder if this will stop him. So just to clarify that, it's not that. I mean, honestly, like right now, again, just the fact that Sony, they don't have a proper CEO. The CFO is currently in charge. I mean, anything could happen, dude. Capono, you're saying, I think those lines make MBG feel comfortable. I read that as uncomfortable for some reason. No, it is getting to a point, dude, where it's really not. I don't think it was ever that serious, but it really is just getting to a point where, all right, what are we going to hang on to here? Really? Like, what's worth hanging on? The only thing to me that's really worth hanging on to, well, I have two things. The actual console hardware itself and the games. And when I say hang on to them, I mean, like, when it comes to the games, like, I just want Sony to continue, regardless of what they choose to do, just continue to make some really good games. Like, I don't want to see them deviate too much from that. I don't want to see them get caught up in the success of live service to where they start deprioritizing other types of games or prioritizing certain live service games over single player games. I don't want to see that happen. I don't think anybody wants to see that happen. But when it comes to the hardware, I don't want to see Sony deprioritize the hardware so much to where it just feels like it's truly taken a back seat. I can accept that Sony wants to reach different audiences and they want to grow beyond the console. Fine. There's nothing we can do about that. That's what they want to do as a billion-dollar corporation. That's what they're going to do. But I just want to see them treat the console with the type of respect that, frankly, I do feel like it deserves, because it's like, dude, that's how you got where you are. Like, you made the original PlayStation in 1994 and 5, and since then, like, this is what you've used to build your customer base and your fan base. And the only thing that should be prioritized, or not the only thing, but something that should be prioritized absolutely going forward is, treat that with the respect and treat the audience that cares about that console with the type of respect that I feel like it deserves. That's all. Again, that's why I had that whole rant earlier about what Xbox, like, to me, Xbox is doing the opposite of that. Like, Xbox is like letting their developers actively disrespect Xbox players, bro, where it's like, yeah, we're giving you some slight advantages on the PS5 version. Like, why? Like, you guys have a literal console that you literally marketed as the more powerful console, and this is what you're allowing to happen? To me, that's just straight up disrespectful to the core fan base. That's like, 'cause think about it, dude. Think about it. When Xbox came to the market and PlayStation, what did they have? They didn't have jack shit. You know what they had? They had a box, a console, and they had hopefully games that they say, hey, come buy this console so you can play these games. You know, like, that's all they had. I think that sometimes when shit gets too big, they forget where they came from, you know, and what made them. And I just feel like seeing what's happening specifically with Xbox is what's most concerning, where it's like, again, if Sony did put Helldivers on Xbox, but we found out the Xbox Series X version ran better or ran at a higher resolution or had some kind of advantage over the PS5 version, I would literally be like, there's no fucking way, Sony. Like, how are you going to allow something like that? Like, you have your own console. This is your own game. To me, this is just shit that it's like 2 + 2 = 4 logic here. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's that outlandish or crazy. It's just, it's 2 + 2 = 4. Oh, it makes total sense. Anyway, I think that pretty much does it, man. I think I'm like pretty much tapped out. That would mean like it's basically PC gaming at that point. Well, again, that's why I said earlier, like, I get if PC games run better because it's PC. You know, there's a ton of different configurations, and Sony's not like trying to have the PS5 compete with a $3,000 rig. Pushing Polygons, you're saying, MBG, perhaps it is disrespectful, but would it be unethical to put out a product that isn't the best of a developer's ability? No, I think at that point, again, it's not encouraging. I get what it's a tough one, because I know it's like, oh, so you want them to ask the developer to purposely throttle the game. And it's like, well, listen, considering the PS5 and the Series X are so similar hardware wise, I think just making it an exact replica, it's identical. Absolutely, like, there's no advantage on either. They're exactly the same. To me, that is the best way to handle it, because you can say to the new for example, if Rare did this with the Xbox version or the PS5 version of Sea of Thieves, they would be able to say there is zero difference and zero advantage whatsoever on either version. There's none. They're exactly identical. You know? Even if that does mean, like, listen, if that meant having to lower the shadows by about like 10 or 15% just to ensure that when the Digital Foundry analysis happens, they can say they're exactly the same, I think that's what they should do, yes. Because if they don't, then that means Digital Foundry's analysis is going to come to the conclusion that, wow, the PS5 version is better. You know? And it's like, okay. I don't know. It's to me, these are conversations that shouldn't be happening. That's unethical, though. Well, I don't think it is. I don't think it's unethical. I don't think it's unethical to turn to your development team that you own with an IP that is yours and a game that is yours and say, whatever you do, just make sure you don't give the competition the better version in any way. And if that's unethical, then fuck it. Then be unethical about it. Because in my opinion, you're just doing right by your customers. That's how I view it. You're doing right by your customers, the people who came in day one because you asked them to, and you said, look, here's why you want to go with us instead of, you're saying we're really sitting here talking about shadows. It's not just shadows, it's draw distance. It's a dual sense. But I guess it is what it is, man. If Microsoft said that they just don't care anymore and stuff like this doesn't bother them, I guess the only thing I can guess is Microsoft expects the Xbox player base, anybody who's playing on Xbox, to just be the same way. To just say, I don't care. I don't care. And maybe they don't. Maybe Microsoft's making the better choice here. Maybe they are, but I don't know. It's crazy to me, man. It's just such a bad, unnecessarily bad look. Yeah, I guess that's true. I didn't consider that. That's an interesting way of looking at it. You're saying Microsoft already has the best version on Windows. Okay. I guess you're right about that. But still, though, like it just feels a little bit different. Well, at the end of the day, though, like no matter what I have, putting my own opinion aside, I've told you guys what my opinion on this is. I just think this shouldn't be a conversation. We shouldn't be seeing a second Xbox game being presented by Digital Foundry, where Digital Foundry says if you buy this Xbox game on PS5, you are getting some advantages. I don't think that should be a conversation that is occurring because it just doesn't make any sense to me. However, ultimately, putting my own opinion aside, I don't think it is going to matter. I don't, because I have to believe and imagine that at this point in time, anybody who still stands by the Xbox console, they're not leaving, dude. Like anybody who still stands by the Xbox console, I don't think there's anything that could be done to make them say, I'm leaving the Xbox console to go over the PlayStation. I just don't think so. I think that this is about as far as it goes. And if you're still standing by Microsoft, I'm convinced that Microsoft could do literally anything and you would still, and I'm not saying I'm not judging anybody. It's whatever, dude. It's a choice. But I think that's kind of the mentality that Microsoft has now. It's like we've basically dropped the bar as low as we could for Xbox console players. Anybody who's still here, like they're not leaving. Are they the real? Yeah, they're the real ones, bro. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. They're the real ones. Ride or die. So at the end of the day, putting my own personal opinion aside, I don't think it matters. I don't. Like, is it strange that we're sitting here saying Sea of Thieves has some very slight, but still still actual factual advantages on the PS5? Yes. Is it going to matter? No, I don't think so. Levy H says, yeah, they're the real ones, the real dumb ones. Damn, Brew. I said Brew. What's happening? What is going on? Am I stroking today? Damn, Brew. Brew? Not even bro, Brew. Saying most of these Xbox fanboys have a PS5 too. Yeah, you're probably right about that. Well, the future of console gaming and the future of Sony and Microsoft is looking very strange, very unpredictable. Who knows what's going to happen? And just to be clear, I don't want to jump to conclusions and say that based off of one rumor that Helldivers 2 is for sure coming to Xbox. I'm not going to say that because I don't know. It's one rumor and it's preliminary talks, which to me signals that the talks could break down. Maybe it won't happen. Maybe it'll fall apart. But we'll see. If we hear another reliable source come out and say, yeah, it seems like Helldivers 2 might be making its way to PlayStation and they're corroborating that, then sure. I'm trying to see if my tactic worked here. I put a pillow on the side of the desk here to see if it would stop Boss from jumping up onto it, and it seems like it did. We have Disco Cobra 2013 coming in at the 3-hour mark, coming in, dropping a $50 super chat. Really, really appreciate that, Disco Cobra. Thank you so much for the support, man. It means a lot. You're saying here, Xbox is mostly a footnote in the gaming landscape. They still might get some people excited, but they are not competition anymore. Could that change? Not likely in this generation. Hope the Gears of War news is true. Marcus Phoenix collection possible? ? I think I'm surprised a Gears of War collection hasn't happened yet, to be honest, Disco Cobra. Like, if there's one thing that I would have thought by now would have happened like many years ago is some kind of Gears of War collection, but I have to imagine they're working on something. It'd be strange if they weren't, especially if the rumor is that Gears of War 6 is supposed to be like a really big deal. And if that's true, then I imagine having some kind of like Gears collection to get people caught up or something. I don't know. I mean, it makes a lot of sense to me. But yeah, I think this is just going to be difficult to get used to be honest. Like, because you're saying, there isn't really much competition anymore. And I agree. Like, there just doesn't seem to be much competition anymore. And that's just, again, this is one of those things where it's like, whoa, who would have guessed that this is where we would be in the future with PlayStation and Xbox, where it would just be like, yeah, they're just not really competing, like, in any way, in any meaningful way, when it's been like multiple generations of like both of these companies fighting tooth and nail to win us over. And it is going to be difficult to get used to, because I just don't. It's Boss. You need to chill out, dude. Do you see this cat? He's like, shut the fuck up and give me snacks right now. Fine. Boss, I'm only giving you a couple more snacks because Disco Cobra dropped a $50 super chat, man. Here, come on. You can thank Disco Cobra for that, boss. But I think it's going to be difficult to get used to, because, I mean, I don't think the only time we've ever seen what that looks like no competition between Sony and Microsoft in the console space, was with the PS1. That was the only time. That was the only time we ever saw what that looked like. And I don't know, it's been so long. So much has changed since then. There are people that basically talk about it like, well, that's what's going to basically signal the end of the console. Not the console market, but like the console market is just going to shrink and become way more niche. And that does depress me, because I don't know, I'll always think that there's something special about the console space, and I've always been an advocate for wanting to see the console do well and have a real place in the industry. I never expected the console to be like the be all end all, or to always be like at the center of everything. Certainly not, but I guess there is just this kind of fear that if the competition really starts to dwindle and become almost non-existent, will there still be this big push to win people over? I mean, I guess you could say in the games department there will still be competition, right? So maybe it can live on there. But if the games are kind of being shared everywhere, it kind of eliminates the competitive nature automatically. I don't know. I guess maybe it could just come down to dev teams wanting to remain competitive with one another. I mean, that's definitely something we could see. dev teams basically duking it out, saying I want to make a better game than them. But I don't know. I don't know exactly what it looks like. I don't know what a PlayStation 6 generation with another Xbox console with a Microsoft and a Sony that have basically just are friends now. And I mean, could it be good? I don't know. Like I want to be optimistic. I do. It's just hard to be optimistic because it's just I'm just used to things being a certain way, and they've been a certain way for so long that, I mean, if it were to change completely, well, maybe it speaks to my nature. Capone, you're saying now I'm worried. Well, I wouldn't worry too. Like, I am a little bit more pessimistic, but I'm not like so worried that, like, I still think we'll get good games no matter what from both Sony and hopefully Microsoft. You know, I just don't know, man. Oh my God, boss, you are infuriating me, bro. This cat. No, dude, no. You are going to knock the mug over, bro. Boss, do not make me manhandle you on the stream. I'm telling you, I'm going to have to do. He's pushing my buttons big time. Holy shit, he's pushing my buttons. You think he's cute? Dude, he's over here about to knock everything over. He's enraging me. Disco Cobra, I see that you dropped another $20 donation here. Super chat. I'm going to read that. I just have to move boss out of the way because I can't see anything. Hold on. I feel like I've had to lift him up like that, like at least 5 times this stream. But Disco Cobra with your $20 super chat here as well. And again, thank you so much for the support, man. You're saying, what major releases do we still have on PS5 this year? Maybe Stellar Blade. It seems like most of the PlayStation heavy hitters have come out. I'm not looking forward to much besides a handful of games now. What's that first party game? Well, I think most people, Disco Cobra, probably feel the way you do, where a lot of people are looking forward to Stellar Blade, but beyond that, there's literally nothing. And that, again, this is why I've been so obsessive about my conversations with you guys about this upcoming PlayStation Showcase. It's because there is, I mean, actually like nothing. No release dates. It's not to say that we don't know about any games. Like, for example, Disco Cobra, Concord is coming out this year. No gameplay, no release date, but it's coming this year. So we may as well not know about it, you know? Wolverine, no gameplay, no release date. May as well not know about it. Although, unless you count the hack. Death Stranding 2. We got a major trailer for it earlier this year. We saw a little bit of gameplay. We have a much better understanding of the story, but we don't really have a release date, and it seems like it is targeting 2025. Outside of that, I mean, there's really not, especially when you talk about first party, man, there's really not much. And I think what it's going to boil down to is, again, I think it all comes down to the showcase, which, God, man, I feel like I'm truly becoming a broken record, and I do apologize, but what else am I supposed to point to? You know, all I can say is what I've continued to say, and that is that Sony has a myriad of studios that have been working on multiple projects for years now, and they haven't been revealed yet. And at some point, they're going to have to be revealed. And that point, it's like we're at that point now, Sony. We don't know anything. So if there was ever a time for them to reveal some of this stuff, it's now or in the coming months. And so I do think one of the more important things Sony's going to have to do at this PlayStation Showcase is they are going to have to lay out the rest of this year. Obviously, like I do expect we'll see some reveals from Sony's first party for things that are, the next year, 2 or 3 years out, possibly. But yeah, we do have Silent Hill 2 remake as well. I guess I just don't ever count that because that's not actually from PlayStation. It's an exclusive, but it's from Konami. But yeah, it's going to be imperative for Sony to make it clear, like, we have more games lined up for the rest of this year. Here they are. Here's gameplay trailers, and here are release dates. If they don't do that, I think that could be really problematic for them. I do think that it's going to be, believe it or not, and I know some people might disagree with this, I think it's going to be more important for Sony to lay out a longer term roadmap for the PS5. Like, if they have to come out and be like, look, we really don't have anything ready to go for the rest of this year, I'm going to be very disappointed. I'm going to be like, this sucks. But if they're like, however, we can show you like the next 3 years or something like that, I'd be like, okay, like, all right, I guess I'll take that. It's better than nothing, right? Ideally, though, they can do both. Ideally, Sony can come out and have some other games that are like, hey, here's Concord, here's a new Astro game, here's Until Dawn, maybe something else we could throw in there, something smaller. But here's also the roadmap for the next like couple years. Here's some major announcements for games that we have coming in 2025, 2026, and beyond. And then for the, going forward, we can just basically tune into these showcases expecting, updates on these games. That's how I view it, man. Oh, shit. Boss. Do you guys see him? Oh, my God. Get down. I'm just kidding. You can stay. How come he listens now? Are you shitting me? Of course he'll listen now. When he's on a stand that, like, you were totally fine up there, bro. You could have just stayed up there the whole time. Tell him to get down every other time. He completely ignores me. The one time I'm, like, expecting him not to listen. What if PlayStation has nothing at the showcase? Then they're fucked. Straight up. Like, if Sony puts on a bad showcase this year, they're fucked. Not like forever, but their console sales are going to tank. I'm convinced. They're going to piss off the fan base. They're going to alienate some fans. People are going to throw fits. People are going to be like, I'm done. And on top of that, like, they're not going to win. They're not going to get people to buy PS5s until GTA 6 drops, pretty much. So I don't think they're going to have a bad showcase. I don't think they're not going to have anything. Ghost 2 would cheer MVG up. Yeah, it would. I think we're going to see Ghost 2. That'd be very exciting. That's, again, Ghost 2 announcement is one of those announcements where I don't think it's coming out in 2025. I think Ghost of Tsushima 2 is more likely 2026, but they announce it at the showcase. They show us a little bit. We get super excited. We walk away being like, fuck yeah, dude, Ghost of Tsushima 2 coming to PS5. And then the next showcase, we hope to see another massive gameplay chunk of it or something, and get like a release date. I think that it would be fine if they did it that way. Wolverine and Ghost 2 is a solid bet. I agree. Those two, I think, are the most likely to show up. And again, I know I went on this massive tirade about Sweet Baby Inc. and Wolverine, and I stand by everything I said. But I also said during that tirade that, like, look, man, I'm going to at least give Insomniac the chance to show this game, because even though I'm perplexed by their, decision to hire this company to work with them, I still am trying to be mindful of the fact that it's mostly, 90% of this is Insomniac and what they're making, and I hope that they can. I hope that Insomniac, regardless of them working with Sweet Baby Inc., can put out a fucking awesome, brutal, intense, amazing Wolverine game. Like, I still want that, like, and I'll still dream for that. And I hope that Insomniac can make that dream come true. I can't deny that there's a bit more skepticism now. So I'll hold out hope until all hope is lost. And, I want to give Insomniac at least a chance to show the game and show me what they've been cooking. And if they show me something that I'm like, whoa, that doesn't get me excited and I want nothing to do with it and this looks trash, then fine. But if they show me something and I'm like, you know what? This is looking fucking good and this is getting me excited, then so be it. That's ooh, see, I don't know about that. You're saying we already saw the damage that incurred in the leaks. They won't go back on it. See, I didn't look that far into the leaks. And fuck, I don't know. I don't know how to take that. Russell Carey says Xbox released a console without a single first-party game in the entire year, but people still bought the console. That's the power of brand recognition, brand loyalty. Yeah, you might be right about that. Maybe I'm wrong, dude. Maybe Sony could not show very much at their showcase, and the PS5 would still sell. See, my whole thing is PS5 sales are already slowing down. They are. They're slowing down, and I think Sony sees that as a problem. I don't see how they couldn't. Like, yeah, it's a problem. Your console sales are slowing down, man. Like, you want to keep them, selling well. You don't want to see that slow down. So I think if you're Sony, I just feel like logically speaking, the smartest thing to do is like, okay, how do we get people to buy our console? Have a great show. Show a lot of great first-party games, some of the big hitters, and a lot of third-party games as well. That's what I think. You see him just lying there peacefully. Look at him. Look at him. He's totally... I was trying not to get him to move his head, but he just like completely like laid flat on the ground. Like he's like, I'm tired, bro. All right, let's see where we're at. So we're approaching the 3.5 hour mark. I've expended my topics of discussion big time, as you know. Not much to say at this point that hasn't already been said. So I think I'll keep the stream going for like another 5 or 10 minutes. And what I'll do is I'll just talk to the chat for a bit. And yeah, we'll do like a last call for membership gifts. Again, Disco Cobra, really appreciate that generous, basically $70 super chat, man. Very kind of you. We're at 35 members. We are 15 away from hitting 50. So if anybody wants to continue to contribute to the memberships, I'd really appreciate that. See if we can hit that goal. If not, 35 still a very solid number, and I appreciate that. Appreciate all the support you guys show. And hit that like button for me, by the way, if you could. That helps the streams as well. Let me go check something real quick. Damn, dude, a lot of people dislike this stream. A lot of people dislike this stream. The day is coming, though. Like, in all seriousness, the day is coming. Capono, you're saying I'm being very mature about this? Well, I appreciate that. Listen, the day is coming where, I've said in the past, like, oh, I'm not going to talk about Xbox. But I realized that was a stupid thing to say because it's like, I want to talk about Xbox at certain times when it feels relevant to do so. But what I can say is that, like, dude, the day is coming sooner, much sooner rather than later, where I'm not going to talk about Xbox. And it's only going to be because, like, there will actually be nothing left to say. You know, like, and what I mean by that is like, if the future plays out the way I think it's going to, more and more Xbox games are going to be announced, and it's going to just like become clear that Microsoft at some point is going to go full third party. And I guess what I'm trying to say is like, if the competition truly does get reduced to like nothing, the only reason I would have to talk about Xbox anymore is if they are releasing a game on PlayStation that I'm interested in playing. And that could happen for sure, but that's going to be, again, like a weird time, man, because it's just going to be hard to talk about. It's going to be hard to talk about Xbox in the same way that I talk about like EA or Capcom or something like that, where it's like, it's going to take some getting used to. But that day is coming because, you know, again, man, gaming news is so fucking slow right now. This was definitely not my primary choice of topic. I got to be honest with you guys. I was looking at the stuff that's relevant to PlayStation right now to talk about. And, you know, there's that news that Little Big Planet 3 server shut down. And I don't know, like that. You're saying Eric M says this guy is, you think I'm silly? Why am I silly? Google Stadia should make a console. Oh God, no. Please. No. I don't think there's going to be any more consoles made, to be honest. I think we'll get consoles from PlayStation, from Xbox and Nintendo, but I don't think anybody else is going to say we're going to make a home console. I just don't see that happening. It will be about the games then, not the boxes. Well, to be fair, it's always been about the games, but it's been about the games in like a more hyper competitive sense. So I think a better way of putting that is it'll be about the games, and it'll be about the games like it always was, but they'll be way more separated from it, like separate from one another. Where like for example, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I think a good way to illustrate this is, let's say PlayStation has their showcase, right? And they announce something like Ghost of Tsushima 2. They show Wolverine gameplay, and it just looks amazing. It's like Sony's doing what they do, you know, like these games look cutting edge, really great. And yeah, PS5. Let's say Microsoft has their showcase a couple weeks later, and they show Gears of War 6, and Gears of War 6 looks fucking mind-blowing, cutting edge as well. You know, like insane graphics, and it's like, wow, this is a fucking next-gen moment for Xbox. But it comes out that like this game is being prepped for PS5 as well. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, do you see how it's like, if that, and maybe that won't happen, to be clear. Even that won't, even something like that is a little bit outlandish right at this moment in time. I'm not saying Gears 6 is going to come to play. I don't fucking know. I'm going to say probably not yet or anytime soon, but I'm just trying to, it's a hypothetical of like, if Gears is announced and there's, and like, let's just say, let's go the opposite direction. Phil Spencer comes out and says, this is not coming to PlayStation ever. I mean, he won't say that, but it's just a hypothetical. Then people are going to compare. And the reason why people are going to compare is because the stage is set very clearly that these companies are fighting to win you over. And they want you to, like, you got to choose, like, are you buying an Xbox for Gears 6 or are you buying a PS5 for Ghost? And of course, a lot of people are saying, hey, I'm going to buy both. And yeah, that's, a lot of people will do that, but we know that a lot of people also won't do that, and people are going to feel like they do have to decide. And I'm not saying that's, again, this is why I've tried to speak towards, like, in a way, that need to win people over is a good driver for competition, to push for devs to say we really need to, like, we need this thing to fucking shine, dude. And don't get me wrong, I think game developers want their stuff to shine no matter what, because they want their game to do as well as it can. But I think there's just this added incentive when it's like, and we need this to sell consoles. Then there's like that kind of added, like, we really need to make this thing fucking shine bright. And I think that, that's always been a cool thing. But I just think that if Gear 6 is shown and it's clear, like, this is going to come to PlayStation, I mean, yeah, I don't see it being a bad thing. It's just, you got to admit, like, that would be like, whoa, holy shit. Like, how did, like, here we are, you know what I mean? That would like be the definitive end of, like, there's no more competition in the console space, dude. Like, that's it. And I think that, again, I'm not saying that conversation becomes bad. I just think it becomes very different. And I think that there's just a lot of people, myself included, that I grew up and I've grown up like expecting presentations to go a certain way, and the conversations where it's like, there's going to be a clear winner here. And it's like, no, there won't be this time, actually. In fact, there will be no conversation about who's winning or who's not. It's just going to be, how do the games look? And I get it. Like, is that a bad thing? Maybe not. No, that could be a good thing. But I don't know. It feels so unnatural. Like, to be honest, that's like what it feels. It feels unnatural at this point. Like, bro, this isn't how it's supposed to be. Microsoft's supposed to try to be kicking fucking Sony down the stairs, and so is Sony. They're trying to fucking, but maybe it will be a good thing. My dongle is better than your dongle. Yeah, that's what it's going to transform into, bro. Now, maybe at the end of, I'll end this on a really positive note, though. I'll try to. I'm not feeling too positive right now, to be honest. I'm feeling very tired for some reason, but I'll try to end it on a more positive note, because I don't know. Sometimes I just get tired of being so negative or worried about shit, but maybe this ultimately will be a really good thing for gaming, man. Maybe it will. Maybe we will see just a new age of gaming where it is no longer about these billion-trillion-dollar companies trying to beat the shit out of each other in the name of winning over the same customer, but basically just saying, like, we're still going to make these games, we're still going to make these consoles, and we just want you to go play where you want and enjoy the games. And here's the bonus: the games are just as good. The quality of the games doesn't reduce. Nothing changes. It's all the same or better. It seems like it seems like that's a very idealistic version of what could happen, but maybe it's possible. Maybe it is. Anything is possible. So hopefully it all leads to better games and more enjoyable experiences and better hardware and stuff. I don't know. That's my more optimistic take on it. Yeah, not counting Nintendo, of course. Eventually, the two will merge, like phone. Oh, that would be insane. That would truly be next level insanity. Sony and Microsoft, Xbox and PlayStation coming together as one. Man, that would be fucking nuts. That'd be kind of cool, though. Now, that would be like, whoa. That would truly be like, holy shit. The Playbox 720. There you go. But guys, I think that is going to do it for this stream on this Sunday. We are let me see. We're about to hit the 3 hour and 40 minute mark. So I think this will be a good spot to end it. At this point, I mean, I've been rambling a lot this stream, but at this point I'm really just rambling. So before I close out the stream, I want to just once again ask you guys, please hit that like button as you're filing out. I also want to extend a very big thank you for everybody who supported the channel today directly. We are sitting at 35 members, so we crushed the goal. We fed the beast. Thank you guys for that. Anybody who drops a membership gift means a lot. And I also want to extend the same gratitude towards anybody who dropped a super chat. Super chats obviously help the streams tremendously. They mean a lot. They're very important. And I will say, dude, some of the super chats today really got me going in some unexpected directions over the course of this stream. See, sometimes it's like, should I even bother titling my streams or trying to lay out topics for my streams? Because you never know with these super chats, man, where they might take you, what direction you might end up going in. But yeah, I appreciate everything you guys do for the channel. And I also want to take this moment to thank Devil Shooter. Devil Shooter does the timestamps for the streams. And he does a great job. So if you see him in the comments with the timestamps, show him some thanks. Show him some love. I know he really appreciates that. PlayStation X, PlayStation 10. Yeah, I read something like that. PlayStation has trademarks going all the way to the PlayStation 10. Well, that's reassuring. That's very reassuring. See, Sony has plans. At least 5 more consoles, bro. At least 5 more consoles. Can't complain. Can't complain knowing that. But yeah, guys, just once again, thank you for watching, and thank you to everybody who watches the stream later on. I couldn't do this without your support. Very much appreciated. All right, so I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their day or evening. Wow, Matt, that's pretty dark, bro. Probably true though, dark, but true. But I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their day and evening. I will catch you guys in the next one. I don't know if we're going to stream tomorrow or not. We'll have to wait and see. But either way, I hope you guys will tune in. And yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna go chill with boss. He's chilling right now. Now he's chill, right? But all right, that does it. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Until then, take care, everyone.